Greetings, fellow Empyreans. I am Ashtarothi, the voice of New Eden, and it is January 13th, YC128, and this is the Eve Universe Show. Had to think about that for a second. Welcome, guys. How's it going? Today we are back. It is Tuesday, which of course means before anything else, just a reminder. Let's go here. If you, hold on. If you, just a reminder, go into the New Eden store. It is Tuesday, and therefore, if you go into the New Eden store, you should be able to see your 15,000 skill points for free if you are an Omega. The event is over. We are now in normal time, as it were. We're waiting kind of for the next thing, but we don't really have a next thing yet. So one of the things that I've been thinking about doing this year, I really want to be more supportive, and I'm always trying to figure out how to do better by all of you, but also my supporters. And so my thought is, one of the things I want to start doing this year is just put out like polls and let my members help direct what direction my content goes in, because I want to make the content that you guys want. So yesterday, I put out a post to all of the members on the YouTubes and asked them what they wanted today. And we did get mission running as the choice that people wanted. So it's going to be an interesting one. I think that it's a good one to cover, especially nowadays, because mission running is in this weird spot right now where it's not bad. It's good. In fact, they just buffed it in a few ways, but it is incredibly old. And so if people are getting into Eve right now, they will find mostly old information, which will probably still be accurate, not accurate, but it's worth looking. With everything going on in the universe nowadays, what does it actually look like to run missions in 2026 YC128? And what does it take to do it? Now, there is a slight complication that I discovered as I was getting ready for the stream today, which is that my corporation has been war decked. So that means that the members of the hostile corporation can attack us anywhere I happen to be. So this could be very interesting. We intentionally left my corporation open for Wardex in the event that somebody does want to ruin my day. So we'll see whether or not how this stream plays out. Who knows? Who knows? I'm going to just do my best to do what I can. And then we will see where it goes. Another thing that I would like to think about this week in particular, but like whatever, I do want to do more work, more non-Eve content as well. And so I want to try to get some streaming going on my Decanted channel. So stay tuned for that in the Discord. I'm actually even thinking about possibly, like, if we stream for a while today and we decide we're done with Eve, we may even do something today. If my new Dominic's Navy issue gets blown up, that might hurt my feelings and may make me need to have to calm down a bit playing something else. But who knows? I have no idea how today is going to go, and that's what makes today so exciting. So before we cover this, though, I do want to cover a couple of news pieces, and especially the patch notes today. The patch notes are small, but I find kind of interesting. So we have the special edition commodities market group has been redesigned for better navigation and search. If you remember about a month or two ago, I was having issues with every single time my market was opening. It was like locking up my entire client. That was actually because I was tied to the special editions commodities tab, and that thing was full. It has a lot of stuff, and it had to load all of the images, and so there was a big problem with it. Now, about a month ago, I want to say, they actually made a change to this to make it so it loads up a lot better, and we did have the it did in fact feel a lot better, but it looks like they have continued to work on it and are actually rearranging the navigation for it. And we do see on Hobo Leaks a whole bunch of attributes being changed from market group special edition commodities to trinkets and miscellaneous. What's up, Ragtag? So we can go into game real quick, and we can go into the regional market. And we can see special editions assets. We see special editions commodities. And now special editions commodities have been broken down into event assets. Oh, wow. And even that's further broken down. We have special edition, special blueprint crates. We have special cosmetic crates. We have special trade items. And we have trinkets and miscellaneous. So that's really cool, actually. So the trinkets and miscellaneous is going to be mostly the lore stuff. This is actually extraordinarily good. Like, this is one of those things that's been annoying me for a while, where, like, for instance, the cryograph stuff from the previous event gets just dropped in with everything else. So you have to scroll through this giant list of just everything that has ever been part of any event ever in order to get the things that you want. So this actually breaks it down into actually specific event stuff, which is pretty interesting. Now I gotta see, hold on. Where did... So Guardian Gala's log fragments ended up here. Now I just gotta know, like, where did... I imagine they went to trinkets. We're talking... I'm sorry, I'm thinking about Yosef Okada's records, right? So we have... Yep. Yosef Okada, so they're just normal. Any event that is not an ongoing, repeated, or named event like that, like, so we have Capsuleer Day, Crimson Harvest, Empire Day, Guardians Gala, which is going to get people to continually ask what's going on with Guardians Gala. What is going on with Guardians Gala? This is actually really interesting because this makes this, well, the Empire Days are also, so Guardians Gala and Empire Days are events that used to happen but don't anymore. And Interstellar Convergence is the event that happened once. And so we have an entire category for one crate for an event that's never going to happen again. This was the Doctor Who event. Most likely than not, never going to happen again. That's very interesting. What's going on with the election? That's a good question. We covered that last time. We still don't have any information about the election. I don't think we... Wait, hold on. We don't have any New Eden news, right? I guess I didn't check that. New Eden news. Hold on. Universe. Nope. Nothing. Nothing going on there. So, yeah, I do really like this this new sorting, though. It looks good. Although it's funny that, wait, the commotion? Oh, yeah, no, that's correct. It is a bit odd. Chemosh. Wait, the Chemosh? Wait. How did this... Why is there a Chemosh blueprint can in special edition, special blueprint crates? That's... Hold on. Am I crazy? What is... Isn't the Chemosh... Oh, wait. Yeah, okay, it's the Blooder crate. Okay, got it. Right. Krur, okay. But only those two? Oh, here's the other ones. Did they just put them in the wrong places? So they... Yeah, because here's the Ashimu and the Balgorn. And there's the Dagon. So yeah, they just miscategorized those two. And there's the Moloch. Okay. Interesting. I guess the one thing that I can read out of that is that, like, if I want to try to read the tea leaves to be like, oh my god, they put in the Guardian Gala assets, that means they're going to do it again. I don't know if I'm really able to read into that because there's so many mistakes. It doesn't feel like this was done with too much attention. Hold on. What about the hunt? Wait, what about the hunt? Do we have her logs? What's her name? I know, this is definitely what... Wait, hold on. So these displays, the tool swiper displays, all of these displays could be part of the Winter Nexus event, not here. Oh boy, now I feel like I'm like this seems like a lot more records than I remember. Wait, so where's the hunt logs? I know, this is definitely... There's the Gala hunt logs. There's the Vamoksha Chorus hunt, logs. Sorry, there's the Gala logs, not hunt logs. What was her name again? Is it just not in here? Wait, hold on. Is it not here at all? Now I'm confused. Oh my god, I don't need every burning logic circuit. Well, okay, hold on. What's her name? What is... Now I'm hold on. Now I've got to look into this because this is... Why am I not able to find anything? Hold on. What is her name? It's the Tanuki, but oh man, what is the name of those freaking things? Hold on. Let me look this up real quick. If I go into my lore area of the Notion, I should be able to find her, Esri Hokozotsu, that's her name. What are the logs name? Capsule Subsystem Holo Storage. Here we go. So these are just considered a commodity? Miscellaneous information. Can you just not... We can get these, right? Yeah, they're... Okay, they are under... They are just under trinkets and miscellaneous. So... I guess that's my question, is why would these logs, which are associated with the hunt, be in just the general stack when the Guardian Gala logs are specifically here? I imagine it's because whatever, I'm going to go with intern, was told to do this didn't actually have that deep of an understanding of what everything actually is. Or maybe they just missed it. I mean, whatever. But yeah, either way, we'll have to keep an eye on that to see how it goes. What else is in the patch notes? I thought there was something else. Isn't there something else? Friendship League and Media Miasma skin lines have been extended. The best ship remains the Friendship. And if we go to Hobo Leaks, we can find that the Apotheosis, Metamorphosis, Synesis, Gnosis, and Praxis all got the Friendship League skin. And then the Apocalypse Navy, Revelation Navy, Paladin, Flycatcher, Golem, Phoenix Navy, Catalyst Navy, Executor Navy, Ishtar, Saber, Thrasher Fleet, Naglfar, Pioneer, Outrider, Macarial, Gila, Rattlesnake, Odysseus, Stormbringer, Thunderchild, Squall, Kikimora, Zonitra, Nerus, Kryos, and Kronos have all gotten the Media Miasma skin. So I'm going to count these real quick. Hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 20. Oh, 23. Okay, I was just counting that because I was wondering, because they did the scope syndication skins before. I think that the Media Miasma skins are the new version of the scope syndication. Let's look. Media Miasma. They have quite a few of them now. Have these been being given out for like partners or whatever? I haven't really been paying that close of attention. They do look really good though. Where did these come? Wait, no, these were, hold on. These were, no. When did these get given out? Hold on. Oh, they're for, these are being given out by streamers now. There you go. Okay, hold on. I found, members of the partnership program have given away a wealth of stunning exclusive skins to their followers since the conception of the program with the Scope Syndication skin line. That has now been retired, making way for a brand new batch of designs by Tamper called the Media Miasma skin line. So there you go. Yep, that's where these come from. Yeah. That's how I mean, I used to be on the partner program, so yeah, they give you like a certain number of codes and then you can use them. So that's why I was counting how many there were, because I was trying to see if it was like divisible by 12. It wasn't. So whatever. But it is weird that a lot of these are like higher end ships, like Navy. It's also kind of weird that we have the where was it? You have the Naglfar, but the Phoenix Navy issue, Revelation Navy issue. Yeah, it was kind of weird to me that the Phoenix and the Revelation, so the Amar and the Caldari, get their Navy issue Dread, but no Moros Navy issue. And the Naglfar non-fleet issue. So it's the standard Naglfar, but the faction Revelation and Phoenix, which is kind of interesting because like overall the Revelation and the Phoenix are the more popular Navy dreadnoughts, I guess. So that's the thing. These skins do look really good. I don't know if there's any special effects or anything like that on them, but they do look pretty. They look pretty. And one of the things I did notice about this is that like this would be almost impossible to recreate, or it might, well, I don't know. It is you can tell it's like mirrored, but like it's hard to get this good of a look across all of the geometry. So it does look like it might have been projected from the side, but either way, it is still an impressive skin. And then I got to see the Odysseus's one though. Does it show it? Yes. Ooh. Yeah, that one looks good. And then there's the Friendship skin, which this one's interesting because this I suspect will be the rewards for FanFest, right? Because the previous ones, like the Nestor Friendship League skin, all of the previous Friendship League skins were a gift for people who have gone to an event that year. I don't remember exactly what year it was. It was like 2000, it was 2020, it was 2022, somewhere in there. It's all kind of a blur, but the Friendship League skins were given out for all of the SOE ship line at the time. And so now they're putting out them for the SOCT ship line, as well as the Odysseus, which is interesting because the Odysseus does have a premium tag on it. So I wonder if what they'll do is, like as part of FanFest, they'll have the these new skins, the Apotheosis, Gnosis, Metamorphosis, Praxis, and Synesis for this year, and then like maybe as part of like selling alongside during FanFest, they'll do the Odysseus one. Hard to say. But here is what the friendship skin looks like on the Gnosis. The Metamorphosis. The Praxis. There's the best effect of the ring. And that's the thing is that, like, with the friendship skin, the effect on the ring is kind of the biggest piece to it. I'm sure we might get or hear more news on FanFest about Vanguard. I can't say for certain. Oh, I am like, of all of the things that I can say with confidence about FanFest, there will be quite a bit of news about Vanguard at FanFest. I almost assure you, because they've already said that the Vanguard is going to go full, like, open beta this summer, or Q3, whatever. And so I imagine what that's going to look like is going to be a big part of at least some of FanFest. The only event skins ever having is with the Vegas ones. I don't know. I've seen some pretty decent ones. I like the friendship skins ones, but my point is that the friendship skins are mostly notable on the SOE ships because of the fact that they have this cool effect on the various rings of the various SOE ships, and so it makes sense that they would go with the SSCT because they kind of have they're the other ship. Well, like with the Praxis, and even with the here we go with the Synesis. There's something for them to put the kind of rings on. It's a big possibility. I'd say let it cook until Q3, possibly. But they're going to, I mean, like, if anything, they're going to talk about it. They're going to show off what's going to happen. And as I've said, like, we definitely, things have to happen in the universe for us to get from where we are at now in the story to the release of the shooter. Now, not much, because if you remember, during the last campaign of the shooter, like, the whole thing was that they developed the first Bastion and a bunch of other people stole it. So it's not unreasonable for them to kind of jump into it, but I assume that there will be some sort of setup, obviously. But who knows? We'll see. I've been wrong before. We still haven't had a Galente presidential election, so it is what it is. Okay, let's see. Anything else worth talking about here? Patch notes. The Praxis Galnet Streamcast unit skin was moved to the correct market group. Cool. And that is it for patch notes. Okay. So what are we doing today? Today we are checking out mission running. And we're going to look into what mission running is like in 2026, why you might want to get into it as a new player or even as an experienced player. And you know, break down kind of what we know about it. So first of all, what is mission running? Mission running is effectively kind of the questing in EVE Online. And in general, like, I think it's pretty safe to say it's one of the oldest pieces of content in the game. So if we go to the agency, we can see under encounters, we have, is it encounters? No, agents and missions. It's got a whole section just to itself. So we have mission agents, career agents, epic arcs, and agent finder. So we're going to go with mission agents. And we can see there's different kinds of missions that you can do, right? There's security, distribution, and mining. Those are the three kinds of missions. So this exists so that way you can do missions, like especially distribution and mining agents exist so that way you can do missions even if you're non-combat focused. We're going to be focusing today on combat missions. But just to really briefly, distribution missions are about kind of delivering things to somewhere. They can be very good if you are trying to get standings specifically, because you can do multiple of them at the same time, depending on how big of a cargo hold you have in your hauling ship. And then mining agents were actually just buffed, if I remember correctly. And this is a good way if you just want to like mine in high sec, and you don't really care about the resources, you just want to turn the act of mining into ISK. Mining agents can work pretty well with that. Although, I mean, honestly, home fronts have some pretty good options for turning mining into ISK if you're willing to have a couple people with you. But yeah, Today we are going to focus on security missions, because most of the time when people talk about security mission or mission running, they're talking about security missions. So why do we do security missions? Well, a lot of things in EVE that are valuable to do because the stuff that comes out of it is valuable. Like, a good example of this is, like, one of the best ways for a newer player to get a good amount of ISK with low cost and skill requirements is by doing exploration, right? And I have that Yeet exploration guide, how to have an adventure for less than 5 million ISK. It's a great way to make ISK if you just want to make ISK and you don't have any skill points. But the problem with mission running is that, or not mission running, exploration, is that, like, the way that it makes ISK is by going and getting stuff. So you have to get the stuff, you have to bring it back to market, and then you have to sell it in order to, like, use it as ISK. Otherwise, you can always use it to build salvage or whatever it is. But my point is that there's extra steps to turning that into actual liquid ISK. And a lot of the times these extra steps, in some of these cases, like for instance in faction warfare, one of the issues with faction warfare is that, like, it requires ISK for you to make ISK, right? Like, you have to have the base component in order to turn in the LP and some ISK with it in order to get the thing. So if you're totally broke, you're kind of out of screwed. So that leads us to the major source of ISK just flowing into the game, which is bounties and rewards, right? So, in nullsec, a lot of people will rat. They will just go out and kill a bunch of rats, kind of brainlessly killing the same sites and anomalies over and over and over again. But that works in particular because nullsec has tools to ensure that those anomalies are always spawned. So as soon as they finish an anomaly, that same anomaly will respawn within 5 minutes, so they can just keep on rolling them over and over and over again. And so, like, all that matters is kind of how fast they can do it and how long they want to do it for. Whereas in, like, low sec and null sec, or like high sec and low sec, because there is no tool to generate those anomalies, anomaly ratting takes a lot more, like, roaming around in order to get it to do it successfully, which is why anomaly ratting is not quite as popular in low sec. You're going to see a lot more, say, belt ratting, for example. But anomaly ratting can be very popular in high sec, specifically looking for escalations to get cool loot. But even that is extremely inconsistent. You can go an entire day running anomalies and get very few escalations and have those escalations give you basically garbage. And even then, you still end up with stuff, not ISK. So that leads us to mission running. Mission running is the most consistent way of just getting ISK for no extra bother in the game on, like, a consistent basis, because you can keep pulling missions, right? There have been other ways of making good ISK, even through combat in EVE in the last decade or so. Most notably, of course, being the Abyss, right? Abyssal dead space is probably the most direct, I'm not going to say upgrade, but, like, alternative to mission running. But the thing about Abyssal dead space is that it's limited to, like, cruisers and down. And to be honest, with how much, especially higher end Abyss, you're going to be spending as much on that cruiser as you would on your battleship or battle cruiser in missions. So there is still a lot of good going on with missions, especially if you just want to run around with a battleship or, like, a command ship or a battle cruiser. Missions can be still quite good. And there's another piece to this, which is that not only do you get the ISK from running the missions, from the bounties, which again, you can spawn missions more or less continuously. So, get that flow of ISK, let's just raw ISK, but you also get LP based on the agent that you're working for, right? And that LP can be turned into faction stuff and other stuff that's worth value, which leads us to the first question, which is what agent type, who to work for. Now, if you're just going for the bounties, which a lot of people do, then it doesn't really matter, right? You can do missions for whoever. By the way, one of the other big rewards for all mission agents are standings. And so standings affects what missions you can do, but it also affects things like market in stations that are owned by those corporations. So a lot of people will like to do missions in order to get standings for, say, the Federation Navy or the Caldari Navy in order to give them better rates in the various trade hubs, right? So there's lots of reasons to do these things. But if I just but they have recently made mission running, in my opinion, a little bit more attractive by the release of the Odysseus, actually. Now, what's happened here is that already if you want to know what's going on, there's links down below, by the way. A lot of these kind of tools and everything that we're going to show off today, there's links for them down below. But here we go. This is a website called Fuzzworks, and this is the website that's really good to go to if you're interested in LP. There is a little thing, there's stuff at the top. Hold on. You can see here that there's categories up here, including the LP store. So here are all the different corporations that you can get LP in, even though it doesn't show you that. It doesn't show you the drop down during the stream. Awesome. So we're just going to pick a random one that I know is a group to work for. So if you are going to do Galente stuff, you might end up with Rodin's shipyards, and we can check blueprints, and we can go to sell prices, and we can see that we can sort by different categories, but we're going to do the ISK per LP, and we can see that there are some things that give you some really good ISK per LP. In fact, 7,000 ISK per LP is actually insane. In fact, it's so insane that this number is probably not overly accurate. And we can kind of tell that by the fact that there's only 2 of them being sold. So you could theoretically get these and put them up. But chances are they won't sell very well, and this is a questionable amount. You would want to double check these things. If you go down to, we're going to look for like the first one that has like a reasonable 5% volume. And one of the best options when it comes to LP is going to be ammo. Now, again, all of these things have pretty good LP, ISK per LP, actually. I'm kind of surprised. But a lot of these are all like implants, and Federation Navy mag stabs might be good, but even still, it's going to be hard to move them. If we get down to actual ammo, we see that we have 1,000 ISK per LP, which is, again, actually pretty good, honestly, for LP. I would not have thought it had been that good, to be honest. If we go back to LP store, we could even check one of the Galmil groups, which are, or one of the militia groups, I should say, because I know that their LP has been hurt a bit recently. That actually is pretty decent LP for ammo, honestly. I hadn't thought, or I hadn't realized that it was that good right now. Let's see. So here we have the, yeah, actually this is pretty good. The Moros Navy issue is under 2,000 ISK per LP. Navy Cap Boosters is 1,000 ISK per LP. So we're getting there, Lord. So if we go to the Sisters of Eve, now I wish I hadn't spent 1 million LP from State Protectorate on Phoenix Navy issue BPC. Well, I mean, Phoenix Navy issues are very highly sought after a lot of the time. So if we look at Sisters of Eve, We see the Astero is at 2,800 ISK per LP with 13 Asteros at the 5% volume. We see that hold on. Sister core scanner probes are 2,100 ISK per LP with 2,400 of them sold as at 5% volume, with combat probes being 2,100, the probe launcher being 2,100. My point is that like Sisters of Eve LP has always been been the best mission running LP there is in general, because of the demand for Sisters probes and Sister probe launchers, which has also made the areas in which Sister missions are done more dangerous. But there's a new contender in town as well with the Sisters net resonators, which these tools are designed are required for construction of all SOE ships. So what's cool about that is that even if you want to build an Astero, you also need the 20 net resonators. So it's not just that Sisters of Eve LP is good. It's that it's also very easy to liquidate at a very high rate, right? At least for mission running, as far as mission running is concerned. Now I got to see where the Odysseus is at. Hold on. Wait. Am I crazy? Hold on. Mission agents, security agents. Is it Servant Sisters of Eve? It is Servant Sisters of Eve. Okay, hold on. LP store. Why don't I see a Servant Sisters of Eve? Have I lost my mind? All right, I guess it is just SOE, huh? Because there's the Sanctuary, which is the other one. Okay, never mind. So, wait, hold on. But, wait. Odysseus? Where's the Odysseus? Am I crazy? Did they not update this yet? LP store. Odysseus. How do you spell Odysseus? Hold on. Odysseus. They might not have updated. Yeah, that's what I'm wondering. I thought he would have. I guess not. Well, come on, Fuzzy Steve. All right, well, either way. The point is that SOE LP is extremely good. So we're going to focus on doing SOE missions today. But I also want to point out some other tools. If you are interested in doing missions, I do strongly recommend you bookmark this page, the Eve Survival page. This website has literally, some of this will be old, but missions don't change much. This website is literally the website that I used in 2010 when I was doing mission running, okay? So this is older than dirt. I don't even know when it was made. But we can see there's basically every single mission in the game is here with a pretty decent breakdown, okay? Now then, all that said, also, if you are interested in these kinds of things, you can go to Eve Workbench to pick up good fits and such for your setup. Today, and also, sorry, one last thing. There is an infographic on my infographics chart, not this one, but this one, the NPC damage types, that is going to be useful to this because this teaches us a little bit about which damage type each race does in the event of missions. We can see that most of the time, the rats will do the damage type of their home empire and then will be weak to the damage type of their home empire. The one weird exception to this is the fact that both Serpentis and Guristas are technically vulnerable to kinetic, as opposed to the Serpentis being more vulnerable to therm, but it is what it is. They added the Moloch to the LPs. Moloch is old. Yeah, they did. Yes, they did. They did add the Moloch to the LP stores, if I remember correctly. All right, so all that said, let's go ahead and jump into where we are. Okay, so we have a Dominic's Navy issue hull. I'm going to start with this one because I want to, but so like one of the things I want to do is set up for the Convocation of Empyreans a battleship in the SOE mission agent area for each of the major empires or whatever. So that way, if somebody wants a mission ship, we'll have one ready to go wherever of the classic mission ships. So we're talking about like Ravens, Dominic's, probably Typhoons, and well, there's a few options with them are. But we're going to start with the Dominic's Navy issue because it has been buffed a bit in the last few years, and in a way that I think is particularly good for mission running. So we're going to look at that. Right now, I have an unfit Dominic's, and so let's go ahead and start trying to build out the Dominic's. The first thing to consider is, well, we've got to figure out what tank and what weapon system we want to use with it, right? So the weapon system, we have bonuses for drones and large hybrid turrets. This is an interesting thing about Navy Galente ships, is that if you want to get the absolute most out of a lot of them, you're going to need to work on both guns and drones. This is actually one of the reasons why the Dominic's used to be better than the Dominic's Navy issue for missions, because the Dominic's is solely focused on drones, where the Dominic's Navy issue is focused on drones and hybrids. But one of the ways that it was buffed is to make it just good at both, and you don't actually lose out on your drone effectiveness in order to gain that hybrid effectiveness. And we can see that it has a bonus to the hybrid damage, which is kind of interesting because normally you would expect it to be tracking, but we actually get the tracking bonus to the drones instead. Dom makes you a gank target. Well, do you think so? Why would you say that it makes you? I mean, I assume that a Marauder makes you a gank target. Is it Dominic's better than the Abaddon? One of the reasons why I want to do this is because of how quote-unquote AFK-able it is. The use of the drones is going to make it both require you to be less attentive in order to be able to do it. You could theoretically AFK it, but also the difference here between the Abaddon and the Dominic's is that the Dominic's using drones is going to have options. And that's a big piece of what mission running is all about, which is, you know, when you do different missions, you know, if you're going to go against whatever type of rat that agent sends you against. So, you know, over time, you're going to go against all different kinds of profiles of enemies. And so flexibility in your setup is pretty strong. And so the fact that you can pick whatever damage type you want with your drones is a huge advantage versus an Abaddon, which will be stuck at EM and Therm. So the blasters are going to be stuck in, you know, locked to kinetic thermal, but our drones will be able to do whatever it is that we feel like. And we have a giant drone bay with 400 M3, so we can carry multiple kinds of drones. So we know we're going to go with drones. And with this, we also get a bonus to the armor repair amount. So I think we're going to try to get an armor build as well. Okay, so let's start with our low slots. Currently doing level 4 missions pretty well in Gila. Few close calls, but mostly due to not paying attention. Gila's pretty ballsy for missions. You know, obviously the Rattlesnake is great. It's correct that hull tanking is only going to be good for PvP. It'll also be really good when we're travel fitting this thing, but we'll get to that when we get there. All right, so if we go to hull and armor, we're going to want a armor repairer. Now, we do not want armor plates, okay? I did see a couple mission fits that do this. Barring certain examples or exceptions, you do not want to mix armor repairers and armor plates. And the reason why is because basically you want to be able to utilize as many modules as possible at any given time, because like, so a module that isn't working isn't doing you anything. It might as well be something else, right? So in this case, when it comes to armor repairers and armor plates, if the armor repairer is keeping you alive, then the plate isn't doing anything. And if the plate is keeping you alive, first of all, something very bad has happened, right? Like, especially when it comes to mission running, you're going to want the armor repairer to be able to keep you up. You want to combine these two if and only if you expect there to be some sort of like alpha damage that you must survive via plate and still rep through it, which is not going to happen in missions. So yeah, Raven is exceptionally good at missions. Yes, hull tanking is great for PvP, for absolute sure, but we're talking about mission runnings today. So I'm going to start out with a large armor repairer 2. And the question is, do we need to single rep or dual rep the armor repairer, right? That's one of the big questions that we're going to have. And then also, it's going to be best if this is cap stable with at least one repper running, right? We don't want to cap out in the middle of a site. So the next piece to this, though, is going to be resistance, right? If we want to get the most out of our repper, we're going to also want to maximize our resistance. And this is where missions get kind of very specific, which is that if you remember from that cheat sheet, you can basically predict, not basically, but like with the tools at your disposal, you can know exactly what kind of damage the rats are going to do, which means I've seen a lot of fits, a lot of mission running ships fits with multi-spectrums. And in my opinion, multi-spectrums on mission ships are bad because, again, any value out of a module that is not being utilized is wasted, right? So rats will usually only do 1 or 2 different types of damage, right? They're not going to do all 4 types of damage. So it's actually better to keep a it's better to keep a type specific hardener. I know I'm currently at war. But that's not going to decide what mission fit I'm going to have. As I was saying, we are going to want to have type-specific hardeners. And as we talked about during my tanking guide, those tank-specific hardeners can be pretty cheap, even for fancier ones, right? So let's go ahead and look up. I want to go with armor hardeners because I want to get the most out of them. And then we're going to want one of each, right? So for now, we're just going to go with an EM hardener. And we're going to compare them all, and we're going to look at the costs and see that the C-type is only 17 million. The B-type is 22 million. Let's see if there's any available here in Dodixie. I am trying to keep the entire thing under $1 billion. We're going to just go with a C-type for now. Yes, I keep multiple types of stations at the hardeners at the station that I'm operating out of. Exactly. So you're going to want to basically one of each, right? So we're going to grab this one for now. Oof, wait, what? Hold on. C-type, C-type, C-type. This is still better. What do you mean, WTF? What? Either way, we're just going to grab this one. It says it's way above average, but that's just because the average is assumed to be something ridiculously small, I'm assuming. Oh, yeah. Look at that. It's only been selling at like 16 million. Why would my Raven need shields? I'm going to just pretend like he didn't say that. All right. Well, either way, whatever. We're going to... Should we just go with Tech 2 hardeners then for now? Well, no, because that's silly. Maybe we should go with Federation Navy. Wait, hold on. What's the difference between Federation Navy and normal? Hold on. So we have... See, even the X-types are only 64 million. So we have Tech 2, which is 55%, but most of the faction ones are also 55%. So let's go ahead and go, man. Oof, that's too expensive though. Okay, we're just going to go with the C-type then. That's 25 million, not 25 billion, right? Okay, great. We can't spend all of our day on the first module. All right. So now, if we get back to the fitting, we can put an EM armor hardener in here just for like a stand-in, but we're going to go get one of each of them, right? Now, what's also interesting though is that as I just said, you want type-specific hardeners because that way you can get the most efficient value out of your hardeners and therefore the most efficient value out of your reps as well for the actual mission at hand. However, armor in particular gets to kind of cheat, right? Because the reactive armor hardener is pretty freaking good overall. So we're just going to grab a reactive armor hardener in here too and just hope that these 3 modules are going to be enough to tank it. Our resistance profile is extremely good EM, not extremely good everything else. But again, like we can type specific hardener whatever we want. We can actually get a second type specific hardener if we wanted to. In fact, let's go ahead and just pretend like this is for we're going after Blood Raiders or something, right? So we would need a thermal hardener. We can compare those. And hold on. Thermal damage resistance, X types. So interesting. Also too expensive. But we're still going to grab... That's too expensive. We'll just grab a Tech 2 thermal armor hardener. We could bling that up at some point, but we don't really need to. So there we go. Now we've got 76 thermal resistance, 82 EM resistance, as opposed to 45. So we're taking basically half the damage thermal that we would be taking normally, and probably about half the damage that we would have been taking in EM as well, plus that one armor repper. So hopefully this is pretty good. Now then, most of our damage is going to be done from drones. So we're going to go with a drone damage amplifier to start with. We're going to just throw 3 of those in there. And that's our low slots for now. Now, I have glanced at a couple fits, but we will look at them a little bit closer once I'm done with this fit to see whether or not I think it's any good, and then we're going to experiment with it a little bit. And assuming I don't get blown up by my work target, we will see how we can improve things. So, okay, what do we want in mid slots? In mid slots, so for mission running, I personally feel like you're going to want a prop mod. There are too many places where, you know, you have to burn towards a gate or something like that in missions. I definitely want a micro warp drive, but I'm going to assume that I'm only going to get away with an afterburner. So we're going to try an afterburner first. And then the biggest thing I want to do with my mid slots is cap, but also, so there's kind of 2 different targets when it comes to mission running, right? There's the targets that are very far away, and then there are targets that are kind of close and potentially fast. So you want to have range to be able to hit something very far away, which we're going to utilize our option of having sentry drones for that. We're going to use sentry drones for targets that are way far away coming towards us, which means that we're going to focus on blasters for our short range damage, just so we can maximize how much damage we do with our turrets when we can get close to things, which means things are going to go a little bit faster. So I'm thinking that of all of the different pieces, a grappler is going to be good, a heavy stasis grappler, okay? And that basically frees up the 4 mid slots for cap. So let's go ahead and look up a large cap battery, because I do not want to worry about cap charges. So if we just take 2 of these, how many of these can we, what if we just put in 4 of them? No, nothing. Okay, great. So we can go with cap rechargers. Does that help? 8 versus 837. So that's better. 1822 versus 1533. So that's better. We haven't even put on blasters yet, so we're having a bit of a cap issue for sure. So let's go with capacitor control circuits for our rigs. 1 capacitor control circuit plus this setup makes it stable, but again, we haven't even added in the drones or the guns. It is a drone boat, but it also has guns. So now then, we're going to go with our high slots. With our high slots, we have 6 turret hardpoints and 6 high slots. So if we want to do, if we can fill our entire high slots with weapons if we want to. I'm not 100% convinced that we do want to yet, but let's look. We go to hybrids, blasters. Some people go with rails, so that way you can target far away. But again, like, I think that we're going to use sentries for that. So there are 3 different types of blasters: electron, ion, neutron. Neutron being the heaviest, right? 4.7, yep. So we're going to see what happens if we just stack up full in these. Again, we lose our cap stability. So we can go here and check out ammo. Yeah, we've lost our cap stability. So we can put a second capacitor control circuit 2, and that puts us at cap stable again. So now we're cap stable with blasters, so that's pretty good. And so that means that we can put our last thing, our last rig slot can be something valuable to us. We could go with resistance, but again, like what resistance is necessary is going to change at different times. So if we were going to go with a resistance mod, I would recommend going with like an explosive resistance, because that's your hole. That's the one that's going to be the most, of all of them, it's going to be the most impactful. We could go with a hybrid rig to increase our damage or tracking, but I'm not sure if that's necessarily going to be the most valuable thing in the world. The one thing that makes me nervous is I'm currently only using a single large armor repairer, so I want to actually fix that. So we're going to go to large armor rigs, and we're going to see the we have the ancillary nano pump, and we have the nanobot accelerator. Now the nano pump increases it by less, but the nanobot accelerator increases it by speeding it up, which makes it take more capacitor. So we can see here that our reps become 132 HPS versus 29 HPS. We are cap stable in both situations, and therefore I'm going to go with the accelerator. Surprised I went with a blaster type fit. I want big numbers. So I don't know. Rails always frustrates me because of how hard they are to track. Just jumping back in, but reactive. Did you have one of those? What do you mean? I like reactives. It's right here. I love the reactive. Okay, and then we can go in and get our drones. So we're going to go with a set of ogres and set this up to 5. And we can see here now our damage is 1,471 DPS. Now, when I first started playing Eve, there was a blogger by the name of Jester Trek. And I have this memory. I wasn't able to pull it up or anything, but I have this memory from his blog. When he made a mission running guide in like 2011, the rule of thumb was 1,000 DPS. If you combine your offense and your defense, you should get about 1,000 DPS, because you don't necessarily want to overtank your ship. And so I think that this actually is going to very much work. I've got 1,400 damage per second with 753 of it coming from drones. And oh, bro, yeah. As a Dominic's Navy issue user, I'm a fan of Rails. Rails might be good too. Don't get me wrong. I'm just going with what I think off the top of my head is going to be a good choice. Now, it is worth noting that I only have a 60-kilometer drone control range. So one of the things that could be worth doing, almost certainly worth doing, is to take off one of these turrets and going with a drone control augmenter in order to make it so that my drones can reach further out. But I'm just going to go like raw damage for the most part for now. So we have these 5 Ogre 2s. We can also put in what drone, what sentry drone do we want though? So a guard in this setup will have a range of 22 kilometers. So that's not far enough. The bouncer is going to have extreme range, though. Oh, hold on. Actually, no, 45. I guess it's the Warden that has the extreme range, huh? And also, this boat doesn't have a range bonus. 75 kilometers. So the Warden reaches out further than my Drone control range. The Curator does 52 kilometers. Let's just go with Curators then. That's an interesting one. We're going to go with 5. 5? 5. Stop it. There we go. And take off these. And then on top of that, we also are going to want our light drone flight, just in case. We're going to go with 10 of those, and then our salvage drones, right? Well, actually, we want... Hold on a second. Actually, I'm going to go to the bathroom real quick, and then we will look into this. Yeah, Gesture Trek. I saw him posting online not too long ago. Hold on. I will be right back. I'm sorry. Okay, sorry, I'm back. All right, so we can go to salvage drones. Let's just go with salvage drones ones, just in case, just so we can have them for completeness sake. And then what other? Let's go with oh, we only have 75 left. So let's go with a medium drone as our alternative, and we can go with Valkyries, because that way they'll be faster. Now, obviously, it actually would be better to just keep in reserve a flight of every one of the heavy drones, so you can swap out the damage types. Because right now I'm very committed to thermal, right? With the Ogre, the Hobgoblin. I do get EM from the Curator, and I get Explosive from the Valkyrie, but if I wanted to like be very efficient, I would actually have a full flight of each of the heavy drones in reserve, so that way I can bring the correct one with me. But so this actually looks like it could be pretty close to correct. Let's go with Federation Navy Antimatter. We've got Void, and we've got Null, and let's call it like 2,000 of each. We might want more than that, but this will be a good start. All right, and then let's see, anything else that we actually need to have before we get started with this fit? It's fairly cheap. It's actually way under what I was expecting it to be. So I'm kind of interested to see how this goes. Now, I am nervous because it's only a single armor repper, so we're relying on this resistance profile to really carry us. But you could go with Asclepions, even like a low-grade or mid-grade Asclepions, to amplify this as well. In the meantime, though, let's go ahead and see about fitting this up. At least in regard to Galente, or second with drones also being pick your damage. Yeah, MTU would be good. I'm not sure what you meant by that, Malak, but yes, as I mentioned earlier, one of the advantages of the Dominix, and actually of the Raven, but not as much, is the fact that the Dominix can pretty much pick their damage type with their drones. So it's going to cost me 255 million to fit this ship, with a lot of it coming from the C-type EM armor repairer, or armor hardener? No. Whoa! These large capacitor control circuits are very expensive, actually. Hold on. They're supposed to be 61 million. Oh, they're 68 million. Okay, I mean, that's fair. Can we get by with only Tech 2? Or Tech 1? Can we get by? Let's find out. No. Can we get by with one Tech 1 and one Tech 2? Not really. All right, well, here we go then. Anything else that's jumping out as being worth too much? Not that I can see. Yeah. The large capacitor control circuits are almost half of its value. And you know what, though? I actually really like this, because we're talking about it being a big target. This is the thing. I like it when a lot of the value of my fits are irrecoverable. Right? Like the fact that I'm using a fancier ship, the Dominix Aviation instead of the Dominix, and I have nicer rigs, neither of these facts make it better to gank this target, right? The biggest thing about a big fan of all drones in the top slot, you mean like drone control range augmenters? One of the things I was actually thinking about doing is putting a repper in the top to help hold aggro, but either way. Or at least some sort of E-War in the top. I don't need to buy a second EM hardener. Wish insurance covered it. Insurance only covers the mineral costs for the most part. All right, so we've got a Federation Navy. So here we go, 1300 DPS, fit, good to go. Okay. Now we got to figure out about the other hardeners. So we still need an explosive hardener and a kinetic hardener. Now, these are probably going to be more expensive, I assume. Yeah, because explosive is what ships are naturally weaker to, or armor ships. So we're just going to buy a Tech 2 just for now. And lastly, we're going to have the kinetic. And it might be worth buying 2 of each if you're considering such things, just in case you want to double harden for a specific damage type. But here we go with this. Okay, great. Now then, so we have all 4 hardeners now. We have the ammo. Now, though, we have our fit, but we need to get to where we're going. Now, let's pretend that this is a much fancier ship than it is. I mean, like, as far as the fit goes. So I don't necessarily want to expose my fit. Like, my fit and ship is going to be pretty expensive, and therefore will be a good gank target on the way to the location. So we want to do what's called travel fitting your battleship, okay? So we're going to actually take off these items. And we're going to put on We're going to simulate because we got to check something. So now we got to see how bulky can we make this thing. So the big key is that our alignment is faster than 10 seconds. So we actually want to have this taken off and a 500 MN. So we're going to put a 500 MN on here. And then we want a damage control and bulkheads. Now you could theoretically drop all of these mid slots and put shield extenders and other things like that on here, but we're just going to do this to make it go faster. Or, you know, the micro warp drive will make it so that it aligns in 10 seconds, and these bulkheads are going to make it so that there is 228,000 EHP to grind through in order to get this ship, like, dead. So we're going to do that real quick. How many was that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, for you don't. So I don't need to make alignment time improvements because, so with the micro warp drive, it makes your alignments 10 seconds. So unless I am going to somehow get it below 10 seconds, then any amount of alignment improvement that I give is worthless, right? Because like I currently have a 16-second alignment. So if I change my alignment from 16 to 14, that doesn't actually do anything because my micro warp drive makes it 10. So, and the very slots that I would use to improve my alignment time are the slots that I'm using to bulk up a bit. So, that's why we're not worrying about my alignment time. You can do the AB and do the same thing in 8 seconds. Is that true? Wait, okay, hold on. We're going to test it. I know that sometimes that works. We're going to try it. Add all these on here. And a damage control. So you're saying that with an afterburner, I can do this alignment no problem. Okay, well, let's give it a shot. Anything else missing? No, I don't need a medium armor repair. That's the wrong one. Did anything else get pulled off accidentally? I think we're good to go. I think we're good to go. Right? We're good to go. Let's give it a shot. I'm going to put, oh yeah, I'm going to put the micro warp drive in here. I did not grab that micro warp drive yet. Just in case Malak is wrong, but somehow I doubt that he is. So I have my fit in the cargo bay. A mobile tractor unit could be good if you want to do that. I'm not really worried about it too much right now. The only other thing that might be fun is a mobile depot with a micro jump drive. Still confused as to why a set of inertial stabilizer nanofibers would substantially reduce align time. So, okay, let's look into this. So if I go into my simulate and I go to inertial stabilizers and I see that my alignment is now 15 seconds, right? But with the afterburner, my align time is the time that it takes to cycle an afterburner, which is 7.5 seconds. So if I switch out to iStab, I don't get any faster alignment, but I do lose some hit points. Now, I can do this to its extreme. And get it down to 8.87 seconds, which is 9 seconds. That still... Oh, wait, hold on. Yeah, I get it down to 6 seconds. My bad. But this means that I lose all of that tank advantage that I have. And they can lock me instantly. And I only get 2 seconds out of it. Do we need to turn on the afterburner while aligning for it to take effect? Yes. So, okay. Little bit of a trick here, since some people, maybe I didn't explain this. So there's a trick called the micro warp drive trick, which can involve the afterburner. Basically, the idea is that in order to warp, you must be at 70% of your maximum value. Well, your vector must be pointing in the direction of your warp travel at 70% of its maximum threshold. So in other words, you must be traveling in the direction of the warp at 70% of your total maximum speed. So the way this works is that the micro warp drive and the afterburner increases your speed very, very quickly. And then when they shut off, your maximum speed drops back down to normal levels, but you're still going faster. So then when that cycle ends, you're now going more than 70% of your speed, and so you instantly enter warp. That's kind of how you can game the system when it comes to micro warp drives and stuff. So what we're going to do is actually, when we're ready to go, which I think we are, what we actually do is we right-click the afterburner. Nope, we do that once we get outside. So let's go ahead and give this a shot. Now, it doesn't work on the first setup. Now we get to find out if my war targets are after me. Thank you. Well, settle on in. We're having a good day so far. Why is my screen shaking? All my settings got reset this morning. I love this skin too. The bulkheads to enemy lock time. The eye stab makes your signature radius bigger, which makes it faster to lock you. The bulkheads do not make your signature radius bigger, and therefore they do not make it faster to lock you. I did just do we did a couple of very long videos. If you go into my live videos, you'll see that there's been a couple of 7-hour or so videos that have been put out. One of those, at least, well, there's actually a pair of videos that came out about the Gallente presidential elections, and that goes pretty deep. So restrained nanofiber would do well for locking. Well, so eye stabs, nanofibers give you less of a boost to your alignment than eye stabs, but eye stabs increase their ability to lock you. Nanofibers won't actually make you easier to lock. But so nanofibers reduce your structure hit points. And so a restrained nanofiber would lower how much structure hit points you use or you lose for using them. A restrained eye stab would reduce your signature bloom and therefore how easy it is to lock you. been hearing a lot about Gallente. I don't understand what a new election would mean for the game. It isn't. Honestly, it wouldn't mean much for the game. Most of the time, that's the funny thing about the Gallente elections, is that most of the time the Gallente elections exist almost exclusively as a lore item, right? There will be some New Eden newses about it or something, but like, I don't think it's ever actually had an impact, like, or there's never been like an in-game thing happening in relationship to the Gallente elections. The only reason why this is important is because the Gallente were supposed to have an election literally a year ago. And so as of right now, the only democracy in New Eden is not a democracy. So if you're a supporter of the Gallente, it is a matter of consternation. And if you are like opposed to the Gallente, like for instance, if you're Caldari, then it becomes an interesting pain point. Oh, hold on. Let's test out the Afterburner. My bad. I forgot to do that. So if this works, I should warp immediately after it cycles, which I do. Great. So the Afterburner does work for in place of the micro warp drive for this trick, which makes it 8 seconds instead of 10, which is even nicer. Your Vanguard soldiers would suddenly not be able to afford ammo due to elections. They might end up doing something with the elections. It's hard to say. I mean, at this point, that's my point, is that at this point, they've made it into an issue. Now, granted, they didn't like intentionally make it into an issue per se. They have like noted it a couple times in the New Eden news in the last year, but overall, like it's just something that they're going to have to deal with before anything else can kind of continue when it comes to the Eve story. Because anything that the Gallente try to do at this point, you know, if Celis Agard tries to do anything or talk, people are going to be like, hey, what about them elections? It's about the continued quality of the game. It's dropping established lore is never good. That, I mean, I don't actually see it as necessarily dropping it per se yet, just because the fact that there are, as we talked about during the stream about it, like there are legitimate reasons why what we may be seeing what we're seeing, but it is a problem, and it's going to become a bigger and bigger problem for the Gallente as time goes on. And as a group that are interested in the lore, you know, paying attention to that is important, because it may actually be something bigger. It may not, but at the very least, what we do know is that the Gallente are in a historically weak position. They did not get any of the Drifter Hive systems. Celis Agard's opponents are being incredibly critical of her, and they have postponed elections apparently indefinitely, and the I think Celis Agard's chief of staff recently resigned because of the Race for the Hive inquest, which we still haven't seen the details out of that. It's just, you know, the Gallente are in a pretty strained position at the moment. I do agree that that a lot of the storylines are likely waiting for Vanguard. That's why, you know, I've said before that, like, the next few months are going to be pretty much dedicated to getting us from where we are now to where we need to be for Vanguard to launch its open beta, right? That's going to be a big focus of things, probably. But at the same time, CCP has already kind of admitted that they've sort of dropped the ball when it comes to the Gallente presidential election. So we'll just have to see what they end up doing about it. Now we get to see whether or not our war target is going to try to ruin the stream or not. That'll be exciting. Assuming that this Dominic's Navy issue does not die today, it will be available for members of the Convocation of Imperians to use. For mission running. I didn't do the Afterburner. Whoops. So we are heading to Arydanika, which is one of the main systems for SOE story or missions, right? So it is worth noting that if you are an alpha, you can't do level 4 missions. You can't pull level 4 missions on your own. One of the nice things about level 4 missions actually is that, like, you can be in a fleet with somebody and they can give you rewards just by having you be in the fleet. Doesn't matter where you are. So, like, if you have somebody in Null and you want to give them loyalty points or standings, you can always just be in a fleet with them and share it. Intaki should declare independence with the Blessing of Concord, and the Galente should leave the Uli Accord and protest. That would be game-changing. I can what? That's the problem with stream delays. By the time somebody responds to me, sometimes I forget what it is that they're responding to. I think the practice and strength alphas can do... No. As an alpha, you cannot pull level 4 missions. Like, you cannot request a level 4 mission. You can only do 3s and down. Now, you can actually blitz level 3s. There are a lot of people that actually blitz level 3s to get more value. Or, like, if you could do level 3s very quickly and get almost as much value as if you were doing level 4 missions, especially if you're going for standings or you know, just the amount or LP or anything like that. But again, like, as long as you have a friend that can pull your level 4 missions for you, then great. All right, so now that we're here, we're going to refit. Is your ship damage a permanent skin? Yes. That is the rogue drone skin, cryptic mimesis. Basically can't get it anymore. I'm sorry. All right. So there's our fit. Now then, the one kicker is that I might get missions that send me to an enemy empire, or like an actual empire. So like Amar or Mimitar or Kaldari. And if I do that, I'm going to have to decline that mission. And you can only decline one mission every 4 hours without taking a standings penalty. And so that's when that happens, I call it being burned. Like when you get 2 missions that you have to reject in a row or within a period of time. So hopefully we don't have that happen. But let's go ahead and request a mission. And then, so the other one is anomic missions are a specialty mission called burner missions. These are designed mostly for frigates. They're a lot harder, and they're very specialized. But the good news is that you can actually decline these as many as you want without incurring any penalty. So I'm just going to decline this and request another mission. Vengeance. Okay, great. So we're going after Blooders. So yeah, I need exactly what I had before, EM and Thermal. So we're going to go with EM and Thermal Hardeners and see how things work. Hold on, let me just double check to make sure I'm not... yeah, I don't have any implants on me. That would have been bad. Jesus, it's 4 jumps away? Why am I having to go 4 jumps away for a mission? Grrr. Okay, let's go. I just realized something. Oh, no! Oh, no. Okay. Well, now I have an interesting problem. Hold on. So... God damn it. Got to be careful if you support the Deathless. SOE has missions against angels and graces. Yeah, that's been a problem that I've been running into. I mean, everybody, any mission running is going to have that issue, pretty much. So... I guess we're just going to get out of my ship. This is an issue that you're not going to have, but I do, which is that I'm negative with eating comms. So I'm going to have to go and check this route real quick to make sure I'm not going to get my new ship blown up by eating comm on stream. I could theoretically crash gate, but yeah. It's funny, I'm not necessarily worried about the war target. I am very much worried about eating comm killing me. I was naughty back in the invasion days, so eating comm still hates me. I need to get that fixed still. It's been a journey. So I'm just going to clear my route in a pod first. How far away am I? 1 point something? Yeah, 1.06. Is there no galaxy map setting to detect Edencom? There is. And there's even a route thing that lets you extend or like route around them. Oh, shoot. I'm on the wrong screen, so you couldn't see it. When I tried to route around Edencom, it gave me 12 jumps. So I'm just going to check it this way and then hope it works. Now, theoretically speaking, I'm just going to say this. If somebody was super clever and really didn't like me, they could notice what's going on right now. I'm going to clear this. And if there's no rats there, they could show up and shoot the warp post and make sure that there are rats there by the time it takes for me to get back and get my Dominics. And then I'll be hyper screwed. But let's hope that doesn't happen. Okay, so here's the Edencom system. And there is no Edencom on gate. There is the 2 turrets. All right, so let's go back and grab my Dommy. And do this for real. Hey, what's up? Feeding them ideas is not helpful. Well, look. At least I'll be able to say that I called it, I guess. I don't know. Grinch smile. Hey, part of the, I mean, like, I'm doing this also with a war deck on me. So, like, I mean, ultimately, if somebody wants to do something terrible to my stream, they can. If somebody wants to do something nice to me for my stream, they can. That's one of the things I like about this. Do you ever do a micro warp drive trick on Edencom gates, then mobile depot at the destination? Yeah, I could do that. But the problem is that that micro warp drive trick doesn't count if they scram me. If my enemies are watching and supporting me, then it's all good. By the way, speaking of which, the war deck is currently open for people joining. So if anybody's interested in joining the war deck as a defender, let me know. Just a reminder that it is my supporters that made the decision for us to do mission running this week as our major focus. From now on, I will be posting like to the supporters on YouTube to kind of let them help decide what content we're going to focus on any given week. So if you are a supporter, make sure to pay attention to that. I'm going to try to post them on Sunday from now on, just so that we can do it right. And then I think I want to do a supporter stream, but I need to know if people are interested in that. But also, like, I think that at some point today or this week, we will be jumping over to my other channel and streaming some other games. I think that one of the first games I want to show off on my Decanted channel is actually going to be a game called Return of the Obra Dinn. There is a sale going on Steam at the moment for detective-style games. I've always wanted to play that, and I feel like it would be a good stream game. I haven't actually played it yet. All right. Once again, everything's set up correctly. Let us... Oh, I never actually accepted the mission, so that's good. I'm glad I came back then. Accept. I don't know why this mission is so far away. Standard mission running, even worth it? Well, that's what I was saying. Like, it is... Especially for a newer player or whatever, it can be good. It's worth it if it's what you want to be doing, right? Like... Is it worth it compared to high level Abyss? Probably not. Is it worth it compared to a lot of other higher level stuff? Probably not. If it's good for high sec and just continually be able to rat in order to get bounties, absolutely great. SOELP, super good. So it's not bad. It's definitely like worth doing, especially if you want to be in a battleship. But this goes back to like whether or not something is worth it is entirely up to you, right? We are human beings. We are the source of value. So if you find value in it, then it's valuable. The other methods of making ISK in high sec in general, especially as a solo pilot, are much more inconsistent or slower. One of the two. So there is that. I was able to plex my account for 12 months by only 5 blitzing level 4 with burner agents and teams. Yes, there are definitely higher end versions of mission running than what I'm doing today. Burner missions are like a high level one. Maybe we'll do that later this week. I've been meaning to get more into burner agents before. That should be a thing that we should do maybe as a follow-up. You got a favorite NPC corp for mission running or just in general? For mission running, I mean, SOELP is going to be the biggest one. Yeah, you're right. A micro warp drive with a cloak trick could theoretically get me through a Edencom gate camp, but it also isn't guaranteed. Their swarms are pretty big, and so the chance that something decloaks you is fairly high. But yeah, no, that could definitely work. My favorite NPC corp, like of all of them? I like Creodon. Creodon's cool. Old Man Devereaux. Trust Partners, Thuckers. I have no idea why I grinded it so hard. There you go. Thuckers are pretty cool. Yeah, I think that for me, it'd probably be Creodon. Yeah, I probably will need a micro warp drive to do it that way. Yeah, I could just grind rogue drones for 3,000 hours. Actually, it's crazy because like they've made it so that it's even back, like it's 2 steps forward, 1 step back now. Hold on, I gotta focus on this for a second. I wonder if they're going. Ooh, I just realized I might get stuck on the other side now that I think about it. Well, there's the turret shooting me. Wait, oh shit, I didn't, god damn it, I didn't turn off Auto repeat. Yeah, so now when you finish the site, you actually get positive standings with the Triglavians, which that becomes a negative standings to Edencom. Now you also get the positive standings from killing the rogue drones, and so in general I've seen that I gain more standings than I lose, but you can see like here, like these positives and negatives, the positives were actually from completing the site, and then the negatives were from completing the site, and the positive was from killing the rogue drone. Okay. We finally made it to the mission site. I don't even know what mission we're in. Vengeance? I haven't looked up this mission. Destroy the Blood Raider leader and his entourage. And then for my drone bay, I'm going to want to grab my ogres and put them in primary. And then Valkyrie, no, curators goes to sentry. And we're going to mark the primary as my favorite for launching. Yeah. Well, that's why, like, I'm high enough now that I think I'm going to get at least some of my standings back, and I have gotten some of my standings back by killing Triglavians on the wormholes. Just because if I can keep higher than 3.0 with the Triglavians while still gaining 0 with Edencom. So now you need to make sure that you don't complete road drone sites, and Pochfin or Edencom will hate you more. Again, like the standings that you gain or you lose from completing the site isn't as bad as the standings that you... Sorry, the standings that you lose is not as bad as the standings that you gain. All right. This is going to be a good test. So everything's real close by, so we're going to just drop drones and get to work. Oh, they're already going after my drones. Pull those back in. Golly, that was fast. Also, stop killing my drones. Get off my drone. Okay. Come attack me. All right. Are we good? Are we all happily killing me now? Not really. Let's go with, oh shit, wait, why didn't I, wait. Oh, that was antimatter. Okay. So my attack is 13 to 30. I use my grappler on him too. And now I'm going to launch my drones and hope for the best. We're going to keep an eye on their, on the rats to make sure that they aren't attacking my drones. And start to get to work. So far, this is going pretty good. And so the nice thing about this is, and this is actually why I wanted to have like an armor repper in my highs, like a remote, so that way I could theoretically rep up my drones. Let's see how long it takes for me to kill a frigate with the drones. Not long at all. Awesome. Excellent. Perfect. Although that one... Okay, yeah, they just wiped out that. Okay, great. Yeah, because so anytime you get any direct standings with the Triglavians, that's obviously going to derive to negative eating comm. Whereas the killing the rogue drones gives you negative standings towards or sorry, positive standings with both eating comm and Triglavians. So that's how that works. No, stop killing my drones. No, don't die. Please don't die. Get in there. You can do it. Yay! All right. We'll replace that with a Valkyrie for now. That is not working. So my tracking is not good enough to hit with null. So we're going to change it to antimatter. This frigate, at least. Let's see if I can hit with antimatter. Dang it, man. Still going after my drones. All right. So, okay. So I just can't kill frigates with this setup or with the guns. That's okay. That's what I've got drones for. Man, they are really liking to go after my drones, though. So, one of the ways to help make sure that they stick to you instead of your drones would be to have a little bit of E-War. And honestly, the more I play around with this, the more I think that that remote repper would be awesome. Because it would also allow me to kind of take back some of the what I've got. Did I lose one or did I just not? Okay, I haven't deployed another one. We're just going to watch these. Everything is too far away, so we're going to go with null. Fly to the sun theory of ending drone aggro. What? I haven't heard that one. It's a Marquee Dragon theory. I have not heard that one. What, if you fly to the sun first, then they don't aggro your drones? What? Seems strange. Looks like I have the room now. He swears it corrects a glitch. What, just warping to the sun's grid? So you're telling me it's a lot older than that? Eject from ship in space? Dude, whatever. No. No. You're... no, what are you talking about? I cannot believe that this feels like a troll. You're telling me that if I warp to the sun, why do I have to warp to... So I have to warp to the sun. You can't just do it anywhere. So there's something about oh shit. Come on, drones. Get in here. No, no. Oh no, 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 no. Hey. Ah. Oh. Damn, I've lost 2 fucking drones already. Ugh. Anywhere in space. It doesn't have to be the sun. Okay, we'll try that. We'll try that in the next room, I guess. This is the real reason why I like faction drones better than 2-2. It is absolutely true that faction drones are really good for how tanky they are. I know, right, Malak? That's what I was saying. My tank is holding up great. I need to use light faction. What? Why? Why? Oh, I mean, light would make it so that they don't get aggro as much, I assume. Paladin can be very good. Oops. Turned off my reactive. So supposedly you can accumulate aggro, and ejecting from the ship resets the excess aggro. It works and hasn't worked at times for me. But if that was true, wouldn't that make it so that your drones had more aggro? Like if it sets up, if it resets your aggro, you would think that that would make it lower. Yeah, that's true that rats have a harder time hitting the smaller drones. That's true. And also, smaller drones do pull less aggro in general. I mean, the thing is, Malak, though, is that, like, weirder things have happened. I mean, the rule of 6 was incredibly weird when it was first discovered. And it's true that, like, the ability to switch aggro was something that they added in later in life. Like, he says 15 years. That's about the time that the aggro switching mechanics were introduced into the game in, like, 2013, 2014. Although now they're not going after my drones at all. There are no stations in system. You do it every day. So what's the pattern then? Do I just do it? Do I get to the system and then do it really quick and then proceed? Or is it just like, once you do it once, it's good for the rest of the day? In theory. This is some tinfoil shit. Look it up. Hold on. Drone aggro eject from ship. Did drone aggro mechanics... Oh my god. From 4 days ago. I've tried the whole eject into space trick, as well as launching drones at the sun, but neither seems to have done anything. I'm primarily doing Grissus Havens, and I'm launching drones after waiting for the initial wave to aggro onto me. There are 2 versions of the Haven. So yeah, no, it's a thing. Recall your drones at the end of each wave, go to the star, eject for like 10 seconds, and then re-enter your ship. Why why the sun? This feels like a myth that has never really worked for me many times. Well, it's not guaranteed, as Marquis Dragon mentioned, but it's a start. This whole topic is like curing the hiccups. It's true. Well, I wish I had a frigate escape bay. Okay. Oh shit! I just fuck! I just closed my window. Hold on. The trick where you eject from your ship and then revoke it seems to still work. I've also heard that if you log off and log back in, it helps reset aggro. Also, make sure you start moving before launching drones so you break the temporary immunity. When some people say it doesn't work, others swear it does, it's just RNG. Well, the problem is that there's a lot of RNG factors that are already affecting this situation. So let's go ahead and just, first of all, make sure nobody's doing something crazy. Okay, now I can eject from my ship. Wait for my session timer. And then board the ship. All right, well, it's quick. Someone decloak and board it. Yeah, exactly. All right, well, let's go ahead and see how the rest of it goes. It would be pretty funny. If all of this had been like, if I had warped to the sun and ejected and immediately somebody decloaked and stole it, and then like whoever it was that was saying this, Stealth Suit, was just like, yoink, thanks. I've been like, well, you know what? Fair cop. That fair enough. All right. Let's get aggro first. Let's go ahead and drop my primary drones first, just to give them something juicy to go after if they want to. And then I'm going to take a pot shot at this group to try to get some of the aggro. Or get them started. Should make the rest of the room kind of light up a little bit. I also want to make sure focus fire is on. I mean, they're not pulling any aggro anymore. There is that. So far. Except for these are yellow. So maybe. Sun Gods W. No, yeah, they're all on me. They are not going after my drones. Oh wait, oh shit, no, damn it, no. Ah, I lied, they killed a drone. There's another one. Yeah, no, they're still going after drones. They're still killing drones. They are absolutely still killing drones. All right, let's pull all the drones back in. This is why the sun is necessary. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and launch these drones again and go after them. If I had, what do people use for the E-War and the high slot in order to make it? Is it a auto targeter? No, there's a thing that people run in the high slots that help make your aggro more sticky. Is it an auto targeter? From my understanding, that does work. I don't know about this whole ejection thing. But other than drone aggro, this has been pretty good. Target Painter still requires you to like actively do something though. It'd be nice, optimally, with this setup, what you want is to be able to just launch your drones and pretty much be okay, right? I wouldn't mind it if I had to like lock up my drones and maybe rep them. Some of you may die, but that's a sacrifice I'm willing to make. Yeah. Bad drone daddy. Now, it's good to shoot these dudes when they're still at like 30 kilometers, because if they're still at range, that means that they're heading this direction, and so they're coming basically straight for me. Whereas once they get close enough, then they start orbiting, and that's when you start missing. So yeah, they're at 25 kilometers. I was able to just peg that thing out of the air. 24, able to peg that thing out of the air. So that's good. So yeah, a lot of the times, especially if you're doing things that are far away, you're going to auto target only gives the +1 target lock. No, I'm reasonably sure like that. I have heard that one does the aggro thing a lot more than this ejecting thing. So I did just get 4.5 million ISK in bounties, considering the fact that I'm not really doing that much at the moment. That can be pretty good. This is pretty normal, 4 to 5 million ISK in bounties for most decent mission running ships. Okay, come on in, Valkyrie. All right, out you go, Valkyrie. -4 ogres, yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like, if we could sort out our drone aggro a little bit better, then it would be good. This is one of the reasons why, like, a standard Dominix or even, like, giving up some of these turrets slots for things like remote reps or other things like that can be valuable even for the Dominix Navy issue. I have 2 Ogre 2s left. I've only lost 3 Ogres. Your view on missiles? Missiles are great for PvE. We did a whole weapons guide where I covered missiles versus turrets not too long ago. There's a reason why the Raven is such a popular mission running ship. Rate of fire. Yeah, it's not even damage locked. Although it looks like, does the Raven Navy issue do less damage than the Raven? Because the Raven has a damage bonus, but the Raven Navy doesn't. I've seen it, but lasers just reload hassle free. That's true. Auto targeting Tengu can be good. Lasers are also really good because it doesn't take any ammo, but they are damage locked. Raven Navy. Oh, so there's an extra turret. See, I'm not even paying attention to where my drones are attacking at the moment. They're going after the Shadow Sage. So I'm letting my drones kind of do their own thing while my turrets are going after juicy targets. 4 turrets. Regular Raven has only 6, so it'd be 6 times 1.5. 8 versus 8 turrets worth of damage. So yeah, a little bit more. Plus the other bonuses. So you've got better application with the Raven Navy issue, which is going to be the big one. Because most missile systems are not, most large weapon missile systems are not going to be applying fully to anything, especially in a mission. So, without like lots of target painters or something. So, better application is more damage. Correct. I mean, all races have their own advantages when it comes to missions, for sure. Navy Typhoon is amazing. Yep. Damage bonus and application. That actually might be a one to check out. I guess that's a good question. What is your guys' favorite mission ship? I personally, one of my favorite mission ships that isn't a Marauder. That isn't a Marauder. Marauders are cheating for the purposes of this conversation. Oh, potential spam. Okay. Drones in, sentries out. How well do these apply? Leviathan? Okay. Level 4 missions. You're not going to do level 4 missions in a Leviathan. And Nurgles are good for burner missions. My personal favorite is the Macarial. An escort carrier? Okay, guys. Okay. If you guys aren't going to take my question seriously, then no. My favorite is the Macarial. By a pretty big margin. Shadow Sage is not the same as Shadow Serpentis, right? Sentry Dami? Do you like the Dami better than the Dami Navy? The Thunderchild, if you're making your Myrmidon for Navy 3s. Myrmidon Navy can be fun too. Oh, duh. You're right. You're right. I'm sorry. I went to Serpentis automatically. All right. Let's go ahead and go in. That is a strat. So like that is the other way to go. If you go with rails, you can go with sentries and micro jump drive to really be a very safe and effective build. I'm going to kill the turrets quickly. So I'm going to watch these guys to see if any of their red boxes turn to anything besides red, because that'll indicate that they are going after my drones. The ammo consumption? Okay, well, I mean, autocannons do chew through ammo, but the Machariel gets efficient use out of that ammo. Oh, looks like a couple of rats have started targeting my drones, and you can see it right there. The destroyers particularly. So I'm going to pull in this one, but I'm also going to target those destroyers. Oh, okay. There's another wave when I killed the destroyers. Excellent. Good job. Well done. We'll hold these in then for a few seconds. Everything's yellow boxed. I don't know if that means that they're going after the drones yet or not. I don't have any damage on the drones yet. They don't seem to be firing. No, 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 don't go that far away. Don't go that far away. We want to go after the Oracle, which is right here. Although it's not even an Oracle. It's a battleship named an Oracle. That's not confusing. I could never drive with the Mach for missions. Sure, it's fast, but I feel like you lose clear speed due to autocannon's RNG. I have always felt like the Machariel is just slick as hell when it comes to missions. It's fast. It gets where it's going fast. It manages to hit everything from 2 kilometers to 52 kilometers. It's just good. Right now, things are cooking okay. I'm going to start pegging these guys that are 40 off. More! Okay. Maybe we will test our tank today. Let's pull these in real quick. Oh, wait. No, 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 no. That's fine. Let's keep them on that. Reps are not holding as well as I would like. They are still holding. But it does suggest that under the wrong conditions, I could be in trouble. It's still fully holding. Just trying to get these smaller stuff down while I can. Easily. Let's pull these drones back in for now, and we'll switch over to... Actually, nah, that's fine. We have these frigates to kill. We're going to switch the drones over to the frigates. You aren't supposed to shoot while going fast? Well, it depends on which direction going fast you're doing. Oh no! No! I just lost a drone. I looked away for a second. There's another one. Fuck! 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 When they go after drones, they really go after them, though. It's the frigates. Come on, man. All right, well, now I've lost two of those, too. See, and that's the thing. This is something that's always gotten me when it comes to drone control, is that you can't tell when your drones are webbed or like whatever, which is probably how they managed to kill that drone, is because, like, you know, when they web it, it makes it harder for it to get back to bay. Let's just start shooting that one with my turrets. What's a DRP? What is a DRP? Drone replacement. Oh, yeah, drone replacement part. Got it. Instead of SRP. Got it. Looks like my tank is actually still holding, all things considered. Valkyrie is going down, though. Let's pull that one in just in case for now. I think they're all done attacking my stuff, though. For now. Don't know whether or not we're going to get more rats. But yeah, my repper is bringing me to full every cycle, so my tank is not too bad yet. We're going to finish this site, and then we're going to go back and kind of talk about what we've learned. That's going to be too far. Well, it's still the same distance, so never mind. Pretty good, I'd say that for that much. Yeah. Well, and this has been, I mean, as far as like cost goes, I mean, this is a little bit fancier. It's a Navy issue ship. It was 750 million, I think it was. You can probably get about most of this effectiveness from just a Dominix, although I would strongly recommend going with like a dual rep for a Dominix if you're going with a standard Dominix, because I'm relying on that like bonus from the Dominix Navy issue to survive with my tank. Oh, there's the main dude. There's the main guy I'm supposed to be killing. Oh, we just killed him. Mission generic large wreck. Okay, so probably not something fancy in that one. And we'll just switch to null for range. Am I killing small to large? Usually I do kill small to large, but I am also kind of at this point letting my drones kind of go wherever they want to. And I'm focusing my drones mostly on smaller stuff when I do, and my weapons mostly on larger stuff. Still costed about a billion to spend. I don't, yeah, my fit, I mean, the fit is only 730 estimated. In general, with missions, you do want to go from smaller to large, although I did notice that the spawn happened when I killed the destroyer earlier, so that may not necessarily be correct in this ship, or in this site. This is why you'd want to go to, like, Eve Survival to know what's going on. They tell you what's going on with the mission, or you can just do whatever and see what happens. Small flying right at you, best tracking. I pull out small drones once frogs are gone. Large drones and AFK. Yeah, basically. Yeah, that's a good strategy. That's how you do it. Yeah, that's why you want to look up on Eve Survival or somewhere, is if you know the triggers, then you can avoid triggering the next wave. As you saw here, there was a little bit of time where I got a little bit spooky with how overwhelmed it was. If I had been smarter about how I pulled killed the drone, or if I had been smarter about paying attention to triggers, then it wouldn't have happened. Now then, let's see if I can get home safely. This is going to be fun. I'm excited. Are you excited? I'm excited. So I'm going to set auto repeat off to the afterburner. Okay. Oh, wow. So that time I got 8.5 million ISK. So this one mission gave me 13 million ISK in bounties and probably about 2 million ISK in ISK, or well, 2 to 3 million ISK in ISK and LP for doing the mission itself. So 15 million ISK for the mission took me 20, 30 minutes to do. So obviously not going to be that big break-even point. Like, still anything above like level 3 Abyss will probably make more ISK per hour than mission running. But there's just something a little chill about doing mission running. Mission running really is like one of those things, because it's been the same for so long. It really is, as you can tell by everybody talking about it, very much about perfecting your technique rather than dealing with some sort of novel concept, right? All of the missions are very well documented. They're very static. They're very understood. And so you can basically zero in your strategy to make it as efficient as possible. And that's how you get like larger ticks from rewards. Whereas the Abyss is much more kind of random. Like, it's interesting because it's novel. Missions, everybody's been dealing with the same missions for 20 plus years now. So you're not going to necessarily create like the new strategy, but it does mean that a lot of the strategies are very well refined and understood. Although apparently we still make shit up, like you can eject to lose drone aggro. So I think if I were to try to perfect this a little bit more, what would we do? I would like to try... I'm I'm not ridiculing the sun god. Absolutely not. Praise Bob. I'm ridiculing players' inability to know what random means. I do love the fact that there's a guy in the mission running system called the Myth of Sisyphus. I really appreciate that. I hope that that's his mission running character, because that's awesome for a name of a mission running character. So the question is, what would be better if we were to give up one turret, which my turrets weren't working that often during this whole thing. So I think I'm okay with losing a turret or two. But the question is that, like, what would I do? Would I go with a remote shield rep? I think that that's the correct answer, is a remote shield rep, right? Go rail, remote, and auto. Well, if you're going rails, then you don't need to worry about drone aggro anymore. Because if you're going with micro jump drive, it doesn't matter if the drones aggro you or if the rats aggro you or your drones, because you're 100 kilometers off, right? Maybe. I'm not sure. The other question is, should we continue this another day or should we keep going today? That's a good question. Do we have anything else to explore in this topic for today? Complete mission. Oh yeah, I got 3.2 million. So overall, I got 3.27, almost 8, 16, 17 million ISK in ISK, plus another 7,000 loyalty points, which should be, is 7,000 loyalty points? Wait, 1,000 ISK per LP? That's almost 14 million ISK, isn't it? So that's pretty good, right? 1,000 ISK per LP plus 1,000 LP is 1 million ISK, right? So then this would be like 16, 17 million ISK. So one mission, almost 30 million ISK. That's actually pretty good. 45. Well, I mean, except for it took me almost an hour. I didn't loot the Rex in the site, no. Atomic Team. Smash the supplier. So this is one of those where you can see here, it has the Amar logo here. This means that this is a mission that we do not want to take. Because if you fuck up your faction standings with one of the empires, it can be very bad, and it can it's very hard to correct. So you're going to want to reject any mission that goes after one of the empires. This one is also going to be a bit of an issue for me personally, because it's angels. How bad are we talking? I mean, like, well, okay, so if you get below -5 with an empire, then you're no longer welcome in their space, and their NPCs will attack you wherever you go. And if you get below -2, you won't be able to do any missions for that empire above level 1 missions. So fixing your faction standings is so bad and so hard that it's actually known as the plan. The plan to fix your standings, faction standings, is called the plan. But yeah, if you take too many Amar missions, for example, you'll fuck yourself for Amar space forever, or for a long time. So this one's going to be an angel one, which I'm not 100% happy with doing that. Oh no, it's Concord. Yeah, see, I've been losing some standings with them. Those are some pretty big chunks too. I don't know, man. I think that we're going to call this actually good for missions for today. Let me put this idea for you. Once you get lower than -2, you're in for a lot of work that doesn't pay well. Yeah. There are some ways of fixing it with dog tags and stuff like that, but it can be a painful process for sure. Let's see. Okay, so what else? Is there anything else that we want to talk about today? Let me just ask you this. Is anybody interested in checking out Return of the Obra Dinn? If I was to stream that, is anybody actually interested in that? It's a detective game. A bit tiring. I'm gonna stick to trading for a while. Trading is like the best way to make ISK if you know how to do it. Like all of the fabulously wealthy people in EVE are that way because of trading. Screw it. Is MR... Wait, hold on. MR, are you Hollow Stride? Oh. Oh my god, I have a mission from Alpadirch! I'm sorry. For the vast majority of you who have no idea why that's so funny, so when we were hunting down information about the you're more interested in seeing other games like Raid, SOTOR, and Phasmo? That's fair. So when we were first hunting down information about the Deathless. My God. Hold on. Yeah, when we were looking up information about the Deathless, the lady that's in the cool suit with the shoulder pads, there was a picture. Hold on, let me just pull it up. Where is this? Notion lore. There we go. People. So we have an entry in people for, I think we still call her, yeah, Alpadirch. So this character here is actually Soldrun. She is from the invitation trailer. But there was this picture back when we were trying to figure out who the hell this even was, because we kept seeing her but not actually knowing who she was. They posted this screenshot as like a mock-up for how they're redoing like the mission the way that missions look, which, by the way, they didn't do this. I mean, they did it for career agents, but not for other agents. But yeah, they showed off Alpadirch. And so I always called them Alpadirch for a while, but Alpadirch is a real agent. It's this agent, which also happens to be the agent that is trying to give me a mission for so every, what is it, 16? I think it's 16 missions that you do. You get a storyline agent. This is my storyline agent mission. So, and I need something, Jesus Christ. So I need something that carries 40,000 M3 and can go to low sec. All right. I'm actually tempted to try to figure this out. Because, I mean, that's... Whew. Well, it's 40 times that, so they're 1,000 M3 each. Hold on, I'm going to go to the bathroom again real quick, and then I'll be back. Oh. All right. Let's see here. No, we're gonna... EVE Online is a game about the practical application of bad ideas. So I really want to do this now. So... let's go ahead and look on the map. So we are, it's multiple jumps into low sec. Okay. Let's see. So we go from Shrew through an eating comm system. Wait, can't I go? Wait. Shorter. No? Less secure? Yeah! Okay. So, wait, no, Sosh, is Sosh the Eden comm system? Hold on. Activity? Yeah, no, it's Siga. Okay, great. Okay, so I can go around the Eden comm system and still make it. It's 3 jumps through high sec. Or through low sec. But let's go ahead and look at some other statistics. See if this even makes any sense at all. It doesn't, but let's go ahead and check it out. Statistics. Average pilots in space, 0. But there has been some jumps. Okay. We're going to try to do this, I think. Let's go ahead and... I need to check my skills really quick. I need a transport ship. So... because, like, it has to be a T2 hauler. Hey, it turns out I have... Yep, okay, great. So... I guess we're heading to Dodixie then, huh? We're gonna do another crazy thing. We're gonna leave this ship here and head back to Dodixie. Can I just buy a shuttle here? Why is there no shuttles? Is there really no shuttles supplied here? Well, there's one. 35,000 for a Galente shuttle. Good enough for me. Yeah, Clue, why is there no shuttles here? We'll just call it shuttle. I don't want to board a Corvette. That seems boring. All right, let's go. Honestly, if I was going to do that, I would just go with the pod. Okay, so wait. Oh God. Oh no. This is no. Wait, hold on. This might be bad. Am I going to do this in my torrent? No. No, I'm not. No. Right? Because its fleet hangar is reduced. Yeah, no, I can't do it with the torrent because the torrent doesn't have quite enough unless I could do it if I go with if I have a cargo extender or something on there. Those are in other places that I can't get to. Okay. Well, we'll get there and look at it and see what we get to do. Actually, hold on. So this is 3,000. Well, hold on. Actually, how much? My Plex balance changed. What? No, I'm still 0. Well, it's 37 instead of 60. How many was for the mission? How do I look up missions again? Is it under opportunities now? Special delivery. Here we go. Oh no, it's 40,000. I can totally do it. Okay. Okay. Now the mission needs 40,000, but between the 3,000 cargo and yeah, 37,000. It should be able to do it. I should be able to do it. All right, we'll do it at the torrent. Jesus Christ. Can we at least stick a cloak on this thing? I can. Okay. I'm feeling a little better about this. So the advantage to the deep space transport is it does come with some nanos, or not nanos. It's inherently, wow. Someone's doing mission faction warfare or something. I don't know what you're doing with that. Look at this guy. All those guys were in Algosis right now. You know what? This is a crazy thing to do, but anything for Alpadirch. Anything for Alpadirch, my man, woman, something. I don't know. I legitimately would not be doing this if it was any other agent besides Alpha So dumb. I'm so dumb. Ah. I kind of want to message that guy to find out what they're doing. But I also don't know who to message in that group. Fan moment. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, with the deep space transport, it's super tanky. I have some defenses in the form of missiles, and also it has some built-in warp core stability. So it's gonna be pretty good. It's also the only deep space transport that I have ready to go. So we're gonna go with it because a blockade runner isn't going to work. And like hell am I going to take something bigger than a DST into low sec to do this mission? So this is what we got. This is what we're going with. Also, so wait. Hollow, you made 10 billion ISK trading. Is that out? That's without the amount that you made from our opportunities? Because if so, that's a crazy amount of money to make in a month. Oh, with mine. Okay, so, okay. Remember, don't just buy stuff to turn it into us, though. That's rude. Okay. Okay, so I've got 37.5 plus 3,000. 37.5 plus 35. This is 400. This is 500 M3 worth of missiles, but that's okay. I don't actually need 20,000 Scourge, so we'll just put in another 18,000 here. Now I've got plenty of room. This is my torrent. It's named LimeWire. This is my skin for it. I thought it was clever. All right, let's go find Alpha. Wait. Yeah, okay, Shrew is there. Yeah, I guess I go Shrew, Soch, and then go in. Okay, great. Here we go. Oh shit! Nope, not here we go. Not here we go. I need the cloak. I also need to clean my ship. Do I have one? That's not what I need. That's right? Yeah. Uses the torrent uses similar components as a Babaraga? Really? Wait, what? Is that true? Oh yeah, that's right, because the Babaraga uses the components that were added in for the Tech 2 Eden Upwell ships, which is kind of sus. Wait, I wonder if that means that you could see, like, we could argue that Upwell has been trading with the Triglavians. All right. Now we go. So if we turn off our micro warp drive, we have an alignment of 18 seconds. So we're definitely doing the micro warp drive trick. Got it. So we can show off the cloaky micro warp drive trick. So as we talked about before, if we right click the micro warp drive and go to set auto repeat off, now when it finishes its cycle, it's going to automatically end, right? And because it increases your speed by so much, when it ends and your max speed drops back down to normal, that's what makes it so that you can warp for free, right? Now you can add a cloak, or like instantly rather, you can add a cloak to this and it still works, especially if you use a micro warp drive. So what we're going to do is a little bit different. You know, before we were hitting warp and then hitting the micro warp drive and having it down cycle, but that isn't going to necessarily work with the micro warp drive cloak trick. So what we're going to do is we're going to align to the main target. We're going to hit cloak and micro warp drive in the same tick. And then right before the micro warp drive ends its cycle, we're going to decloak and hit warp. Okay? So let's watch this happen. We're going to find our system. We go to Orifay. So we're going to hit align, then cloak, then micro warp drive. We see the micro warp drive cycling. So as soon as it gets to the end of its cycle, right before its end, we decloak and warp Orifay. And we should fail to warp immediately. That's not good. That's why not T1 cloak as it cuts your speed more? Well, that's actually bad though, because you can't be, you need to be able to get up to, in fact, right there, I wasn't actually fully up to speed in time. So that's bad. So arguably I'm having a bit of an issue with this now. So we're going to try actually overheating the micro warp drive first to see if that helps. It's good to practice this shit in high sec before things get too weird. Okay. So once again, we're going to pick the next target. We're going to cloak micro warp drive. I did not overheat my micro warp drive, unfortunately. And we're going to decloak and warp. Yeah, once again, I'm not quite out of up to alignment speed in time. I've still got one more second before I get off. That's not great. I could use an inertial stabilizer to help with that, or even a nano potentially, although nano's going to cut into my cargo. No, nano's hit points, inertial's cargo. So yeah, I don't know. It's not great, but we'll try again. This time we're going to overheat our warp drive first. Can I do that now? Yes. Okay, great. So now we align, cloak, micro warp drive. And then decloak and warp. I was not even aligned to the right place. Well, that's a bad test. Don't do that. That's bad. That's a mistake. Now, it's also true that even if I do get caught, this thing has 141,000 EHP. So that's a lot of health. It's going to be very hard for them to catch me. Even if they do, they're going to have to tank the gate guns. So I'm in a pretty decent spot, no matter what. And I just don't think, I think I'm just not going to be able to rely on my cloaking thing, but we're going to try this one more time. All right, we are going to overheat the micro warp drive. We're going to align, cloak, micro warp drive. Cloak. Warp. Yay! It does work. Okay, so it does work if I overheat. It does work if I overheat. Face me palm. Oh, because I aligned to the wrong one. Hey, you know? I like this skin. I think this skin looks good. Get it? It's a torrent named LimeWire. Got it? Do you get it? It's a joke. And it looks like a lime. Oh, dude, wait, no, okay, never mind. I don't have that skin. I thought for a second, I keep on thinking that I have the Magoo skin. Those of us who do are old. So we're just gonna do a normal micro warp drive trick this time. And you can see it immediately enters into warp, as you would expect. LimeWire was for when you wanted to brick your laptop with viruses. Yeah, well, I mean, you know, that was part of it, right? Totally. Actually, I used to, because LimeWire, I was just out of high school in LimeWire when LimeWire was like a big thing. But like when I was in high school, I wasn't software development even back then. So as a part of like the really nerdy guys with the computers and everything, or like the computer lab. I'm gonna go here real quick to wrap my micro warp drive. So like my buddy actually had a computer, like an older computer that was explicitly for experimenting with different viruses and stuff. Like it was an entire computer dedicated to getting as many viruses as possible and seeing what kind of effects that they have. It was fun. So now that I'm here and I'm tethered to this structure that I have access to dock into because it's a free port, it should begin to rep my micro warp drive. There it goes. See? Yeah, you can see it flickering and it's now repairing it as we speak. So this is a good way to repair your ship, your drones, and your modules for free at any structure that you can dock in. You can, of course, dock up and repair too, but you can, like, Tether itself will just repair damaged modules. And then we head off. Oh, I definitely had my own computer by the time LimeWire came out. But like, so I had dyslexia, you know, I was dyslexic. I am dyslexic. And, you know, my dad was a psychologist, so they, you know, we were fairly well off, all things considered. So I actually had my own laptop in the 8th grade, which would have been 95. So in 1995, I had my own 486 laptop. So I've been on computers for a while. I had an older computer, which was like I had a 386 and I had a 386 before that. No, my laptop wasn't a 486. My laptop was a Pentium 90. We had a 386. I got a Pentium 233. I don't know. It's a nice laptop for the time. And I remember it was a big deal because I was able to play Diablo on it, which my other computer wasn't able to play Diablo very well, comparatively. Diablo 1, mind you. Okay, so time to get to the bad idea. All right, Alpadirch. Let's set myself up for failure. Accept the thing. Okay, so here we go. We got to get here. And we've got to avoid eating comm systems. And okay, so we get as many of these as possible in the fleet hangar. And then, yeah, just checking. Oh, what? Oh no, I have to take all my missiles out. It's 3,000. Oh, because it can't be partially put into the fleet hangar. So the fleet hangar is going to have some space, but my main hangar is not. So I can put these into the fleet hangar? Yeah, that's what it is. God damn it. All right, well, let's hope I don't need them. Here we go. Let's just check the route one more time. Average dock pilots in space is 0, which is nice. That's good. Average pilots in space, still good. All right, let's go ahead and give it a shot. Missing cargo. You're wrong. I got it all. I do appreciate that warning. That used to not exist. But unfortunately, it's wrong. Because I have the stuff split between 2 different bays. I need this in my cargo hold, it says. I have it. I promise you. You had your own, just not no internet connection? No, yeah, by the time LimeWire came out, I was pretty well hooked into things. Because I remember my LimeWire day was about the same time that I was really big into Asheron's Call. I mean, before that was Napster. I had Napster. I actually downloaded a lot of stuff back in the day. I will say that. I remember back in the AOL days, I played so much Neverwinter on AOL that I ended up getting my dad a $250 phone bill one month. And I got in a lot of trouble for that. Eve was your first MMO in 2008? Oh boy. Yeah, I've been playing MMOs since The Realm, which was probably 98, 97, I think. Yeah, Asheron's Call was awesome. I've played a lot of different MMOs. Yeah, Asheron's Call was basically not Asheron's Call. The Realm was like the very first graphically based online game that's like a WoW or like MMO or anything like that. They obviously weren't called MMOs back then. It was called a visual based MUD because I played MUDs before that. All right, let's see what happens, guys. Let's see what happens. Jumping blindly into low sec. Nobody's here. Nobody's here. Hell yeah. Let's fucking go. Leisure Suit Larry came out. Oh, man. I think Leisure Suit Larry is a little bit earlier than The Realm. I want to say Leisure Suit Larry is earlier than The Realm. The Realm was made by Sierra Entertainment, though, if that helps. Like, God, that's actually how I got into the realm so early, was that I was such a big fan of Sierra Software that I would literally go to the Sierra Software website every single day just to check for news. And they were like putting out a thing for alpha testers for this new online game. And so I got into it. I must have been like 13 or 14 at the time. So I remember running my first Ultima Online guild in like when I was like 16. So it's before that. Oh my God, am I going to just have a clean path all the way out? Well, nowadays with the world of 3D printing, saying things like you wouldn't download a car doesn't make as much sense. Not that you would 3D print an entire car, but still, like the idea of like you wouldn't download a physical object. And it's like, yeah, sure, why not? Between Ultima Online and AC1, I feel like we could have crossed paths. Probably. Ashran's Call was so good. So good. I still consider Ashran's Call one of the most innovative MMOs in history. Okay, well, this is a little bit worse. But nobody's on D-Scan. There's a Pilgrim and a Tholos, though. Let's get out of here. Pilgrim's at 5. Not at 1. 5 not at 1 means that they're not at the, wait. They're not at the station. Pilgrims are spooky. Man, this game changed so much when they changed the Sinos thing. Like, when they made it so that, like... Because it used to be that every single time you saw anything, anywhere in LowSec, it was just, oh yeah, that could be everything, right? Even if a Corvette could light a Sino. So it's like every single ship had to be considered at least somewhat spooky. Now all of that spookiness is hyper-focused into very particular ships. All right, let's see. Can I deliver it from here? Complete mission. Hell yeah! All right. Done. That was another 6.5 million ISK. And did I get anything else for that? Wait, did I just... No? Huh, okay. And I got a big standings boost with Sisters of Eve, which is that big tick up. And did it derive to anybody? Oh boy, did it. Oh boy, did it. Interesting. So positive with the Sisters of Eve, negative with... Uh-oh. Negative with the Empires. That's unfortunate. And the Pirate. Man, okay. But positive with Mimitar, Galente, or Evermore, SOCT, and of course Servant Sisters. So my Mimitar standings is now 7.0. Holy shit, I can officially pull level 5 agents from any Mimitar agent in the universe. That's crazy. Wait, but this says no changings found. Oh, okay, what? Huh. Okay, so I was already at that point. Never mind. Galente's getting close. Angels, though, I lost some. 2.91. That's unfortunate. All right, well, cool. Time to head back. I feel like my HP Multijet Fusion at work, I can 3D print an entire car, engine and all. Whew. Engine and all? Engine and all? Hold on, really? Because, like, I don't believe that you can 3D print something that is robust enough to contain a combustion engine. Right? Like, that feels wrong. I can't imagine you could 3D print a combustion engine. I mean, they can 3D print rocket engines. Yeah, but that's not a commercial 3D printer, and it's not using the same kind of materials. Okay. If you're saying that you can, if you're doubling down, then sure. We do live in a post-truth society. Fair enough. Okay, cool. Fuck. Time to go, 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 time to go. Okay, they didn't jump in after me. Whew. All I did was I saw them show up on the overview right as I was jumping. Copper RO spike engines being tested with 3D printers? HP Multijet Fusion is not a commercial printer either. Fair enough. Look, that's good for you, man. That's crazy. I've always wanted to get a 3D printer. I worked on a laser machine for a while. When I was in the facility, I worked in different places, but we had a laser machine that we did stuff for the military. So we would like etch like the glass front and stuff for people's coin holders and other stuff for like people that are retiring. I remember at one point we did a bunch of like Christmas like ornaments. We cut them out of wood. I loved working on the laser printer. That thing's fun. The laser engraver etcher thing. But I've never worked with I've never actually gotten my hands on working with a functional 3D printer yet in my life. I've always been kind of interested in it, but yeah, I don't have the setup for it around here. And I'm out of here. I'm out of danger, guys. So that was it. That was the spookiness. So let that be a lesson to you. Low-sec is perfectly safe. Don't worry about it. Just jump whatever you want into low-sec without any scouts or anything. That's definitely the moral of the story from today. Actually, I think the moral from the story today is that don't do what I do. Do something else. Unless you want to. EVE Online is a game about the practical application of bad ideas, after all. Those quad drones hit 400 or 600 kph with 3D printed parts. Well, yeah, but like drones don't have a combustion engine. I also have a plasma cutting table and a laser engraver, as well as a water jet for thick metal. Celsuit, can I come live with you? That sounds fun. I want to do stuff with that. Depends on luck and timing, I think. Well, actually, a big piece of this, honestly. So let's be real, okay, for a second. Low-sec is dangerous, but mostly it's dangerous on entry points. And it's mostly dangerous if people know what to do. Or if people know, or sorry, if it's an interesting system, for example, right? So what I knew is that this low-sec entry point is very not popular. So I was suspecting that it would be probably fine, because once you get into low-sec, it's usually probably fine. And none of this was like somewhere that is immediate danger of jumping into. Ironically enough, I think if we had gone straight into here, it would have been a little bit more dangerous, just because there's two high-sec systems that go into it. Although this is a... yeah. Either way, the point is that I knew that this system was a little bit further out of the way. It's not like Old Man Star or Tama or even like Yavanye or any of those other entry points into LowSec. So you can get into LowSec pretty well as long as you look ahead of time and make sure you're using a place. Like if you're just going to LowSec because your autopilot sent you there because you're going shorter, chances are your jump is going to kill you. But because I'm doing a thing, I'm going to a system that otherwise people wouldn't know that I needed to go to or anything. I figured I could sneak through before anybody noticed. They're trying to break the sound barrier with a quad drone. That seems... Wait, okay, so they have... Wait. When you need... So it's a... Does it have jets? That's crazy. I mean, that's where we're going right now, right? Like, that's the way the world works. Okay, so... I think that's it. Or props like a mini plastic rocket? Crazy. Okay, so let's talk about the rest of this week. I definitely want to cover more missions over the next few days. So we could look into some improvements for the Dominic's Navy issue, but we also can look at some of the other alternatives for missions. So I know Malak is very interested in me streaming things like Phasmo or anything like that. I didn't see any interest in Oberdin. So if anybody else is interested in me streaming Phasmophobia or Star Wars The Old Republic or any other game, Raid, Shadow Legends, we can do that. Probably not today, but like just hit me up. Let me know if you're interested in these kinds of things. If I see any interest whatsoever, then we can check it out. Otherwise, I will probably be streaming at least some tomorrow and throughout the week. So make sure to come onto the Discord to show interest. The other thing, so like this week is going to be all faction warfare, or not faction warfare, but this stuff is going to be all, today is going to be all, this week, Eve is going to be surrounded around mission running because that's what we got from our supporters who voted. You play SOTOR daily? Sounds fun. Okay, cool. So get into the Discord if you need to, because if I do stream that sort of stuff, it'll be on my Decanted channel. So that'll probably be some point this week. I don't know if it'll be today or not to do that. So doing some SOTOR could be fun. I mean, I've been kicking around with that. I've just got into it a few weeks ago. But so we still need to do burner missions. We need to do and then do some other alternative ships for mission running for the other races. So that's going to be this week. I'm probably going to be streaming a lot this week. We'll see. I don't know. Every single time I promise for sure, that's when the world collapses and I can't do it. So I'm not going to promise anything, but let's just say without promising that it'll be pretty good. Go ahead and check out the Convocation of Empyreans Discord for all of our updates and consider joining the Convocation of Empyreans. We are here to maximize player engagement with EVE Online. Go do stuff. Again, we do have a war deck, so if you're interested in helping out with that, please hit me up in Discord. And also, if you need a free 1,000,000 skill points and you've never gotten it before, you can use the link down below or in chat to get 1,000,000 skill points. That gets sent to a random person on my coolest of cool people, the people that help make sure that the stream and the alliance is working and functional. They're the ones that get the perks of you using the buddy code. So there's that. Also, you can pick up some merch, including this awesome Convocation of Empyreans mug and other choices or other options. Anything else I want to talk about before we go? Anything else? Anything else? Anything else? Last chance to remind me that I need to talk about something and like jump into a whole nother topic. Nope, I think that that might do it. Let me just double check Reddit to make sure there's nothing else new going on. CCP honest question, how much money do you need to end tie-dye? It's not a question of money. Sorry. That's just not a, it's not in the cards. Oh, here's an interesting question that somebody brought up on Reddit that is worth, what is the next event potentially? Well, the next event that we know about for sure is going to be Capsuleer Day. So that's April, right? May, April, May, which is also around the same time as the, as FanFest. So we don't know whether or not there's going to be anything between now and then. There could be. Like historically, there was the hunt and the Guardians Gala, but those are no longer done. So they could bring him back. My view on a Titan. I think that the biggest mistake that CCP has ever made is allowing Titans to be SRP'd. Or not SRP'd, but asset safetied. Yeah, we normally do get a roadmap in January and February, although honestly, those roadmaps don't cover those kinds of events because it's going to be, if something does happen between now and April, yeah, they're going to bring back the Doctor Who event. That's what's going to happen. No, maybe. So like between now and say April or May, if we do get an event, it's going to be lore related, which means there's not going to be much warning about it, probably. But other than that, the only events that are like guaranteed nowadays are Capsuleer Day, which is the birthday of EVE Online, and then Crimson Harvest and Winter Nexus, which are the two, Halloween and Christmas event. That doesn't mean that there won't be another event. It's just that when they do other events that isn't that, then it's usually tied to the lore, which with the expansion coming, with Vanguard coming, very sure that I would be shocked if there wasn't something involving that at some point between now and then, but we'll see. Hard agree on the Titan asset safety. It broke the fucking game. It broke the game. So much knock-on effects, so many problems with the game and the balance, especially around nullsec, and people worried about or complaining about nullsec being stagnant, comes specifically and almost exclusively from the fact that Titans can dock into keep stars and be sent into asset safety. I've talked about this many, many times before, but yeah, that is one of my number one pet peeves in the game. Anyway, so here's the thing. Here's a question that somebody asked in Reddit, which I think is worth exploring a little bit. Fingers crossed for even a crappy Guardian Gala. It's interesting that the Guardian Gala is listed in the thing. Like, obviously, so is the Interstellar Convergence, so, but, like, it'd be kind of cool for them to bring back the Guardian Gala, especially with Angel stuff going on. Anyway, so, let's see. If we go to the micro warp drive, the question is, why is the Tech 2 micro warp drive so bad? And first of all, it kind of is. I do have a Tech 2 micro warp drive on at the moment, which is honestly kind of a mistake, but we're going to look at it for a second here. Variations, we go to compare tool, we bring up the compare tool, and we can see here that, so if we look at the thrust, we can see that their thrust is the same no matter what. In fact, if we go here, we can go, wait, where is it? Filter active. Show only if different values. Okay, great. So here we can see that the vast majority of the differences is the signature radius modifier, the activation cost, and capacitor bonus. Oh, maximum velocity bonus. Here we go. So here we see that the Tech 2 has a 510% maximum velocity bonus, but the compact and restrained has a 505% bonus. So it's a 1% difference in quality between a restrained microwarp drive and a Tech 2 microwarp drive. And on top of that, the Tech 2 microwarp drive costs 165 megawatts and 50 teraflops, whereas the restrained costs 150, so less megawatts, so it's easier to fit. And because it's restrained, that means it has its penalty reduced. So we can see here that the signature radius bonus is down by 50%, which is 1/5, so 20% of the effect reduced. And also the capacitor capacity bonus is the same between the restrained and the Tech 2. So really you're getting 1% speed, but you're losing 20%, or you're gaining an extra 20% signature radius bloom, and it costs you over 10% more megawatts to run the Tech 2 over the restrained. So why would we ever use a Tech 2 over restrained? Well, one of the other interesting things that's here is that this restrained says it's 19,000 ISK, where the Tech 2 is 5 million. And this is where things kind of fall apart, because when I first joined the game, it was kind of understood that one of the things about Tech 2 was that Tech 2 is generally a little bit cheaper, that the meta modules end up being expensive because they can't be regularly produced. And the Tech 2 is a little bit cheaper because they can be regularly produced. But as we can see here, that's not actually true here. It's significantly cheaper to get a restrained. So why would you ever go with a Tech 2? Well, this may be one of those situations where it's so far out of whack that CCP might want to look into this to rebalance it. But there is one piece to the equation here that a lot of players may not necessarily think about, that I've had to think about before, which is it's not just about how much it costs, but it's also how accessible it is, right? Like, it doesn't actually matter if the restrained microwarp drives are cheaper than the Tech 2 microwarp drives if you need 100 of them and the market only has 50, right? Now, obviously, that the market will probably have at least that many, depending on which market you go to. But the idea, like if you're in a wormhole, for example, or even a nullsec, these things, the restraints only come from rats. So they can't be produced on the regular. So if I want to create a setup where I can if I'm in faction warfare, when we in faction warfare, we have boxes where we have pre-built 50 plus of the frigates and the destroyers that we use. So we can just drop the entire box where we're doing things out of and then use that to operate. During major sieges, you might go through hundreds or even thousands of frigates and destroyers. And so in that situation, it isn't just the cost of a specific module, it's whether or not you can even get that module at any cost, or the extra logistics it takes to bring in that module from the outside world. Whereas if you have the capacity, now not everybody has the capacity to build Tech 2, but if you do, then that means that you can basically build as much of the Tech 2 as you want in position, wherever you happen to be, as long as you have the base resources, right? So that is the first thing that my mind goes to when I think oh man, why would Tech 2 ever be good in this condition? But now that I've looked at this closely, I think that, yeah, this is probably a little bit out of whack. Even a basic Tech 1 could be argued to be better than a Tech 2. Yeah, I agree. You could theoretically argue that this Tech 2, because the restraint is cheaper in cap, in both the cap that hits and the cap it costs. So the restraint is going to be a significantly lighter capacitor cost. In fact, let's look at it right here. So we can see my ship here. My ship here has a negative 2.9 gigajoules delta. So it expires in 9 minutes. If we swap out this Tech 2 for a restrained, we see that it lasts for 14 minutes and 20 seconds at a 1.4 gigajoules delta. So this restrained is actually going to be way better than the Tech 2. Now, people might ask, why am I going with restrained? Well, as many people know, enduring means it takes less cap. Restrained means it reduces its penalties. In this case, it's kind of interesting because the restrained penalty is not just its signature radius modifier, but also its capacitor capacity bonus, which is a negative 20% for restrained, negative 25% for enduring. So the question is, which actually reduces the cap, or helps your cap the most? So 14 minutes and 20 seconds here, 18 minutes and 20 seconds here. So you can see that the enduring, which you would think would be the one that costs less capacitor, actually doesn't. It is worse for your capacitor than the restrained. And this actually is double true. Well, actually, that's not necessarily double. So the one thing that is true about this is that, like, if you're not going to have your micro warp drive on all the time, then enduring can be... Wait, nope, that's even worse. Yeah, because the less that you have your capacitor on, or sorry, the less you have your micro warp drive on, the more of an impact your capacitor capacity bonus does as a hit versus your capacitor costs. So yeah, it's even worse. So yeah, basically the best micro warp drive sub, like Tech 2 or below, is almost always going to be a restrained micro warp drive. And then, so your Tech 2 is mostly just for availability and comfort more than anything. I think that, yeah, you could, so with the Tech 2, what could they do? They could make the signature radius modifier better. The fact that the only thing that gets this, like, they could bring it down to 450 or even 475, so it's closer to the faction. That's the real problem, is that no matter what you fix here, you're going to have knock-on effects where the other ones need to be buffed in some way too to compensate. I think... Yeah, it's hard to say how you'd theoretically make it better. It does have that slightly faster velocity bonus. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how you'd fix it, necessarily. But it's an interesting thought. And the micro warp drive is one of those very, very specific anomalies when it comes to what is better and what is not. All right, MR, 07 to you. I'm going to be heading off soon too. All right. Well, I think that's actually a good point to stop it. I have been Ashrothi. I've been playing this game since 2010, talking about it since 2012, and I'm here to put Eve into context for you, my fellow Empyreans. Thank you guys so much. Please, before you leave, like the stream. Please like the stream. Please like the stream. Please like the stream. It is very important. Share it with a friend. This was a good time. We will be back this week to talk more about mission running, knock on wood. Please hit me up in the Discord if you are interested in all those, a lot of the stuff that I've been talking about so far today. If you're interested in joining the convocation, please reach out. If you are part of the convocation and you want to fly around in space, I did put up a members meeting last week, and one of the things I'm really interested in is to know what people are interested in doing. So that way we can jump into that. I think next week we're probably going to get more into faction warfare, but again, like, my content is going to be decided by my supporters. So if you want to have a say in what it is that I'm going to be streaming or covering, make sure to pay attention to the YouTube, especially on Sunday/Monday, where I'll put out a thing for all of my members to vote on what the content is next week. But with all that said, I would like to give an extra special shout out to my Immortal tier supporters: 745 MPSI, Arydanika the Queen, Bad Boy Smooth, Evo Elite, Erladis, Elange, Flash Gordon, May, Malak Starfire, Malin, Mercuton, Mayak, Neelam, LM1, Sheesh, Susuro, Thrans, and Rid. Thank you all so much for coming. And until next time, I've been Ashrothi, the voice of New Eden, and I'll see you in space. I'm gonna go see if I can get the dog. Hold on. Country. I'm working on it. I don't think she's feeling it today. Sorry, guys. But if you want to see stuff, check out the supporters channel in Discord. Bye! I lied. Hang tight after the video.
For every city you burn, I'm gonna build one high.
Here we go. Here's Zoria. Hi, Zoria. How's it going? I know. She's not really happy to be here. All right. Bye.